Warning: all stories could be completely made up, and we have no way to confirm that. Any and all names mentioned in the show are most likely fake. We at Campfire Moto Stories are not journalists and should not be considered as much. If you're offended by anything said or shown in this episode, we don't care, but we encourage you to voice your opinion so we can laugh at the fact that you can't control your emotions. This program contains full language, and I recommend no one to watch or listen to this.
The views and opinions expressed in the program are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the sponsor, any advertisers, or the sponsor's affiliates, employees, or partners.
Coming to you live from the Claremont Lounge in Atlanta, Georgia, it's Campfire Moto Stories.
And then I realized Mike is crashing. Sides himself, crashes, ends up in the ambulance, and he's crying for my brother to go with him. And he's like, "Don't leave me."
Instinctively got feared, threw my hand up, and when I threw my hand up, the cable came across and caught my finger, severed it.
I tucked the front. I bounced one time in the gravel, and then I hit the tire wall backwards. I could feel my shoulder blades actually like stretch around the air hump. My shoulders touched the tire, and they said on the data that the bike was doing 120. Broke 2 vertebrae. I didn't even know it, but all I do know is that Kevin Schwantz saved my butt that day.
And we're live. Campfire Moto Stories. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
I don't know either.
I do.
Don't look at it.
I look at it. I don't look at it. I don't know what to do.
Oh man, we're
You're the host here. Figure it out.
I actually am messing up now. Well, I'm Anthony Bennett. Welcome to Campfire Moto Stories. Glad to have you guys watching and listening and come into the chats, talk crap about my guests I have in studio. Today I have 2 guests. I have Brandon and Joe Antonelli. Say hey.
We're not brothers. My last name's not Antonelli.
Look, I'm new at this. I'm going to be fucking up a lot, so just go with it.
I don't know what to do.
Like that camera. The angle's way off on that. Get up and fix that for me, somebody.
That one over
That
there?
one. Yeah, it's not even showing on me.
You're about to yank your headset. Yeah, go towards Ant. Can't even see him.
Yeah. Wrong way.
Yep.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, there you
Thanks,
go.
man.
Yep.
Must have
perfect.
bumped it when I was hitting record on that one. Thank you, sir.
Doobie.
All right, so tonight we're going to dive into some stories, answer your questions, share some stories of our own. I'm going to share some pre-recorded stories that I got at the track. We're going to have some exciting segments lined up, including Billy's Tech Tips.
There you go.
Good now?
All right. Luckily, his dad's here.
We're going to share a stolen bike, so hopefully we can help recover that. Anybody who sent in a story too, then calls in live, you'll get a chance to win entries for a YZ250. I rebuilt from the ground up, tore it down all the way to the frame, and show you pictures of what this thing looks like. Tore it down to the frame, primed it, painted it to OEM specs, fully rebuilt it myself. It actually was a pretty awesome little barn find. Did I tell you guys even how I came across this bike?
I have no idea where it came from.
So one of James Fawcett's lacrosse buddies hit me up wanting a carb clean. This was right around the time that I was like trying to figure out how to get the show going and what I was going to do. And basically brought it to me just for that. And I'm looking at the thing and I was like, God, roach. Like the plastics were all just weather faded and like, and I started tearing into it. I was like, it's got really good suspension. It's got really good cool parts. Took out the carb. It wasn't even that dirty. Looking at the cylinder, I'm like, this. So the other day when I brought it to Ichikani to just kind of show it for the first time, get some interviews while I'm there, I happened to look at the tire date while I was talking with Sean McKay. But I said, those are
tire.
the date was like 1104.
Wow.
So in no 1102 because it is an 02. I was like,
Original tire.
well, it's aftermarket tires that's on there, but still, it only had a few tire changes,
Wow.
and it's tires on that thing. So, yeah, I offered the guy to buy it, and then plastics. But yeah, so if you are interested in winning that bike, all you have to do is dial 844-678 2367.
Yeah.
I'll look it
right.
up.
So I made it. So Campfire Moto Stories. I made it CFMS. So that's 2367. So it messed me up because I was just thinking about the letters, not the numbers. So I was like, no, don't say the letters. You would be like, but all right. So we're gonna get started into just Brandon, Joe, and I. We've been pretty much all over the country together, going to different races and traveling to different events. So we've got a lot of funny stories that we have had over the. Some things we can't share. Most of them we will, but
That's gonna be difficult. The determination between what we share and what we don't.
The lines are getting blurred
Yeah.
anything to do. Is it the more
Is that
alcohol
your
you
vision?
consume, the
That's
more will come out?
Perhaps.
Usually, most of the stories include alcohol.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
gets things rolling.
Yeah, a little bit of that. All right, so let me pull up some of the questions that I had here, guys. So
Let me bring something up to you real quick that I've been wondering about here for a little while now. Say Echakani. What?
it's not my fault you're stupid.
I'm with the
I mean-
Connie. With
I
that
just back
Connie.
in my. Just
I think
curious.
it's a tomato type
Okay,
thing,
potato,
and
potato,
you're from the
sure.
north, so
Uh,
you're in the south now, so you talk like it,
Just
right?
switch it.
I want to know where Itchy Scratchy came from.
Yeah, you always call it itchy
Yeah.
scratchy.
I got that. I got that from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Where he got it from. And me, before he
Right.
brought me there for.
Huh.
Shai just texted me that my sound's going in and out every now. I mean, not much I can really do about it now. Just have to does and go from there, I guess.
This is a test run. We
Look,
don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing. There's probably
It's
like a
amateur
total
hour,
of
but that's all
5
right.
people listening. So
It
matter
doesn't
so much.
matter. It doesn't.
So let's get into how the show actually came about. So if anybody out there absolutely hates this show, it is technically these two guys' fault.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So
Where either.
after you guys went to Costa Rica with Shu and J Ride and I can't remember what else it was. I think you took Austin Guest's spot. He wasn't there, right?
He didn't go. We
Yeah.
took his spot. Yeah.
So
He decided to go do karate or something.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
So when you guys came back, you and I were heading to a Sorks race, and we were just bench racing, shooting the shit, talking about past races. So, the best thing about Costa Rica wasn't riding it; it was hanging out in the hot tub afterwards, drinking beer, hearing Shu tell stories about racing Supercross in the '90s, things like that happened. That kind of just sparked a little bulb in me, and because that's all I do is listen to podcasts. I was like, the best part of it is when people tell stories. Then I started thinking, just your average person like us doesn't have a way to get stories out there. So I went down a rabbit hole of trying to figure out how to make the thing work. Basically, 75.7.
Oh.
So now we're here. And the thing I'm curious about as well is, are you glad this is here? That you don't have to talk about what to do, bug you about how to make this work?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't even
Yeah.
sure if you wanted to come on. You're like,
Uh,
I'm honestly almost over this thing.
I'm obligated. I don't have a choice. I don't think. Yeah, my audio spotty too, evidently.
Well,
Yeah, I got that.
so everybody's audio is spotty?
Supposedly,
Wonder if it's a matter of just turning up the volume,
this is a work in progress.
turning everybody's volume up just a little bit. As far as the spotty goes,
That'll
that's kind
probably
of
help.
weird that we can hear it fine, and all the test runs that I've done heard it just fine. So let us know if that works, people.
But yeah, I like this much more than your movie ideas and script writing and stuff. This is much more practical.
Yeah, but I enjoy the script thing of it. So I'm gonna get into how we met Joe, because we don't remember how we met. We think it was just at a track at some random time.
It was at AMP.
Sure, it was at AMP.
For sure it was at AMP.
Was it
because
something special to you? Because I don't remember it at all.
no, it was the worst day of my life. No.
Looking back,
Look,
it was the worst day of your life,
so-
not currently. right?
So I was getting to know Brian Lee and
Oh, I was gonna
Turn
say,
and,
don't even bring
and Matt
his name
and
up.
Matt Turner and John Dean and all first, and then Meg were there. So
Ah.
that's when I met you guys.
So we met Joe, even though our backyards touched catty corner for about 5 years. We met Joe just randomly. You were riding your KLX 110 to the park. Not to the park.
To the pool.
It was to the pool.
To
That's
the
right.
pool, yeah.
To scope out to see if was any what there.
Any MILFs, any,
Yeah,
whatever, you know,
yeah.
any cougars hanging around.
So we stopped you, and because we'd always see Anthony D'Amico's truck outside your house, had the
Yep.
little dirt bike logo on the
Yeah,
side,
yep.
and we were like, "Hey, are you Anthony D'Amico?" You're like, "No, that's my buddy. I'm Joe." And it's like, "Yeah, cool. Well, we race and we ride all the time. We got like a 12-mile trail loop behind the house. Like, come ride with us sometime." And you're just like, "Yeah, okay, cool. See ya," and just rode off.
And I did not
you
cool
did
guy
not.
you guys.
Things
Cool
to
guy
do.
does.
I have zero room to cool guy anyone, man.
Well, we took it as
Uh,
he probably thinks we're just power line riders and don't know what the hell we're doing
Yep.
and don't race like that guy that you see that's like, yeah, sponsored by Fox, and he's got like an old ragged out Fox.
Well, you meet so many of those guys, you got to have a little wall up every now and then. Everybody's
Look, we've all done that to somebody.
true.
But
That's
then
true.
and this was end of 2014 because you got that
I knew
15
it, my
YZ 450.
15, yep.
So then you just happened to get it home that day while we were outside about to go ride, and you come by on this brand new bike, and we're like, "Dude, we're about to go riding. Come ride with us." So then you went back to your house and you're like, "Well, let
Got
me
my
go get my
250,
YZ 250 because I don't want to take this into the woods." And we're like, "Okay." Then we got into the woods and just made sure to just
Like, these guys
dust
are
you.
fucking legit, man.
Yeah, that was just one of those things.
Yeah,
'cause we
you
were
guys
texting-
dropped the hammer before I was even. I didn't even find
You
the
weren't even warmed
trailhead
up
yet. You
yet.
guys were gone. Yeah, my bike was still smoking, not even warmed up. and
yeah.
You had checked out on me.
Well, I mean, that was kind of planned because we felt
Obviously,
cool guy. So
obviously.
next time, don't cool guy somebody. You'll never know.
Had to show
Lesson
you what
learned.
was up.
Lesson.
Oh, somebody's texting me again. Josh says it sounds good. Fades and comes back in. So the fades and comes back in it's set up to where if I'm not talking, it cuts off. I might just need to make some adjustments on that. But if I stop talking and I move in this chair, you're gonna hear. So that's set up for that reason. But all right. So raise your hand if you've ever been stuck in chicken shit.
Horrible. Absolutely horrible.
So that was.
But that wasn't the first time you'd been shit on.
No, no.
Yeah.
Not it just not human.
Right.
I did complete the trifecta last year, though. The family
I don't know
trifecta.
if we were going to bring up the
Oh,
family
wow.
trifecta. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit later.
Okay.
But it turns out you didn't. Remember? We'll get to that one in. So we're at Blueberry Hill.
Blueberry, yeah.
Sorks or Seika race?
Storks.
Sorks race?
Mhm.
Okay. And
Yeah, just side note, that was the day I wrapped up the
Oh,
championship
that's
over
true.
you.
That's right.
So
Jim wrawrapped it up that
Jim
day.
wrapped it up
30B
that day
total,
too.
correct?
30B
Yeah,
title,
impressive.
2022.
And
Impressive.
what have you done since you moved into A class?
I've
Nothing?
podiumed.
Put it
I
on the box a
podiumed.
couple times,
There was
dude.
4.
I put it on the box and in the
In
box.
the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happens if you get on the
Yeah.
box?
You get in the box.
That's
in the
right.
box. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, fine. You got a top 3.
Multiple times and top 15 overalls. When there's been
Top 15. Oh, overall.
overall out of like 200 dudes.
Top
or
15s in
whatever.
the class.
Yeah.
All right, so back to the chicken shit. So I jump on the bike because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go see where Joe is, and I go wandering looking for you, and can't be found anywhere. Just like riding the trail at some point. I must have missed you because where I was at was that tabletop where
where
your
Brandon
ass
looped out?
looped out
That I looped
when
out.
we were pre-riding the course.
That was awesome.
Yeah, so it was after that tabletop, you went down the hill into the little ravine, right?
Correct. Yep.
So once you go down in the ravine, tell us what happened.
like the choicest dirt. It was awesome, perfectly groomed, smooth. I'm like, oh,
Very
this is my sideline. There's guys crashing in front of me. I'm gonna give them their space, take a sideline, and looked good. So I'm on the pipe, fourth. All of a sudden, into a swim of chicken. Oh man, I got about 50 feet in. I kind of pond skimmed, the chicken shit a little bit, and then dead stop, flipped over the bars. The only thing that's sticking out is my handlebars. I'm completely buried in chicken shit. It's gnarly.
You had on either like new or good
I had
gear
brand
too.
new gear on
Yeah.
because,
Yep.
I'm like that when I go racing. I got to be fresh to death, and
Look good.
I've
feel
had new
good.
gear. I can look good, feel good, ride good.
Yep.
Whatever.
And then, yeah, right. And then, like I said, over the bars, completely covered head to
Got
toe.
in your boots.
In my boots, in my
Yep.
goggles, in my mouth, in everything. It was nasty. I couldn't get out. I had to swim out.
Well,
They had to call the
Swimming and
emergency
shit.
four-wheeler tow guy. He had to tow my bike out of there. Just bad news. Real bad news.
this was a weekend where a lot of the dudes we ride woods with, that was the first time they had met you.
Yeah.
And they will forever remember you as Chicken Shit
Chicken
Joe.
Oh, like
exact-
A3? Yeah, Alexander.
And
Every
Mark
time
and-
I'm like, you
yeah.
remember Joe, right? He's like, oh, yeah, chicken
Chicken
shit.
shit,
I remember
yeah.
Joe. Yeah.
same way Mark remembers him too.
I caught so much heat when I got back to the I finished my laps.
Yeah.
I completed the race.
Yeah.
I think I ended up getting a fourth that day, but everybody was just hating on me big time.
Dude,
when I
you
got
smelled so bad. Like, and a bunch of dudes' wives were there. And and I can't, dude, when I had a kid, I was so happy when he got out of diapers because every single time I changed his diaper, I'm just
remember that, yeah.
like, oh, the time I got it on my thumb when we were at the Mexican restaurant for our
that was
birthdays. And then
horrible.
Joe doesn't have any kids, never changed a diaper in his life. So I'm like, I got shit on my thumb. And he's like, what do I do? What do I do? I'm like,
I don't know what you want me to do.
oh, fuck. All right, went off a tangent there. So, yeah, we get back. Everybody's freaking out about the smell. And you got pissed off at some point, and you just go, what, have you guys never been shit on before? And I look, I'm like, Joe, have you been shit on? And you kind of, you waffled a little bit. Let's get down to this.
I've been in so shit-infested crawl spaces, it's not even funny.
Okay. Yeah, that's
okay.
fair.
So it doesn't bother me one bit. I'll go in there with a chem suit or no chem suit. Doesn't bother me. I enjoy doing stuff other people won't do that's nasty like that. So, whatever.
That wasn't really the question we were trying to get answered.
Oh yeah,
but
we're talking about
it's-
crawl spaces
went a
or
little bit too far
bedrooms
there.
or
Well, the old hot Carl,
So what sucked with that really bad is the fact that,
I had to ride home with you.
well, that sucked for me. But do you remember what happened to your bike?
Oh, hey, will you change my tire?
Yeah. So he got a flat tire before he went into the chicken shit.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So it was just
Filled.
in there. And you're not good at changing tires. So, of course, you're going to come to me, change a tire. And I should, if I thought about it, I would have got the picture of it. I went into full Kim suit,
I remember.
painting booth,
Yeah.
gloves, like covered my.
I think you had
They-
tear-offs on your goggles.
I didn't have the regular goggles. I just had like the fucking science
Like
fair ones.
chemist
Yeah,
goggles.
chemist goggles. There
Yeah.
you go. But yeah, that was, and even with all that, I think I put a something smelling nice, then a fucking COVID type mask, then the painter's mask, and I still was just like,
Yeah.
ugh. Oh,
That
jeez.
bike still stinks from time to time. I'll catch a whiff of some every now and then.
So speaking of poop things, raise your hand if you've had to change the hand you wipe with because you've broken your wrist.
Wait, this one. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was at. Oh, that's a good lead into the tampons.
Tampons?
Yeah, because
Yep.
that was pre-tampons. You had just, for what? Just getting into riding, like.
No, I broke it at Tampons.
Yeah, but you were not a good rider at that point.
No.
And you went to a track that is very advanced.
Yes and no. At the time, that was still like an 85 track because that was still Richard's old track.
Yeah.
So the last time
So
he had-
Richard Sheriff,
the
local
last- yep.
stupid fast kid.
the last time he had ridden there was like his super mini days or whatever. So at that point in time, it was still a mini track basically. So the jumps weren't that big. I mean, that's the bad part about what I ate shit on is it wasn't but like a 40 or 50 foot double. So at the time, no, the track was not that crazy. I just basically we rode all the time, didn't matter conditions, whatever, and it was wet and muddy. And I'd ridden it 100 times, so you didn't do a sight lap or anything. I just went out there and hit the same jump that I
you
had
hit, like,
100
slick
times.
spot.
Hit a slick spot, slid up the face, and never got it back. And yeah, wrist was toast.
So that was the double where the furthest corner, like before going.
It was
into the
heading that
left-hander.
way, but you never saw the track like that.
But I thought it was that same jump, so it wasn't
No,
that
it was
jump because I always
before
hated
that.
that jump.
That jump was shit, but no, this was a different one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was heading that way, though.
So then fast forward 7 years, probably.
Well, if you wanted to touch back on that, yes, I broke my right wrist.
Oh, okay.
If you're right-handed, typically you wipe your ass with that hand. I could not. I would accidentally almost stick a finger in my butt trying to wipe. So I had to switch to my left hand.
Accidentally,
Yeah, I mean, you're just going to wipe. Make sure you're getting all up
be
in
on
there.
purpose. on accident.
So I had to switch to my left hand. I've never switched back. Still a lefty wiper. I can't go back.
So,
It's just uncoordinated now. I can't.
so
yeah.
what you're saying is we need to break your left arm to make you normal
That
again?
would be the only option to go back to this one. Yep.
So, but yeah, back to 7 years or so later, Richard's grandmother's, it was his grandmother's house. And she's living there, and you ended up moving about 2 miles away from that place.
Yep.
So you just knocked on her door randomly and was like, "Hey, I know Richard. Can I ride your track, lady?"
I didn't, but Chase Clark did. Yeah.
So he initiated
He
it.
initiated it. He found it on Google Earth. He lived in the
No, no.
neighborhood across the
I'm
street.
not talking about when you broke your wrist. I'm talking about
Oh, later on.
later on.
Yeah, later on it was, hey, we used to ride here back in the day. Da, 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 da. Would you be cool with us riding it again?
So we had Shu come out, reface all this stuff, or we just rode it
Redid the whole track. Rebuilt the whole thing, basically.
at that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole thing got redone. And yeah, that was history after that. I mean, I know we reworked the track several times, but same layout and stuff. But
Yeah, so then year and a half, 2 years go by. She ends up selling it to Doug.
Hmm?
I don't remember his last name.
sure,
That's right. And you just randomly went over there and was like,
did the same thing. Hey, I don't know if you noticed a motocross track in your backyard, but the guy that's been riding back there for like 10 years or whatever,
And luckily, he was super cool and rode himself.
he rode around on the Gator.
Or his son liked
son
to ride. But
liked
he was,
to
his son was like 250 pounds on a
bigger
85.
and on an 85.
Yeah.
And before I even got out there, supposedly they were only, I don't even know if they were moved in. They might have been there a week. Supposedly he ate shit on the 85,
Broke
broke
his foot.
something. Yeah, like one of the first times he rode it.
Yeah.
So yeah, when we came and talked, he was a little weary about us because his kid already got jacked up on it. So
Did he even make us sign like a waiver? I don't
No.
think he even did.
he
was
talked about it.
just a good old trusting country boy. But about a year later, when COVID was going on, 'cause
This was
both,
COVID.
so both Doug, his son, and his brother all lived there, and they're all bigger dudes, so they were a little bit worried about COVID and all that stuff. So, but they were whatever. And then actually,
Yeah, it was around that time.
no. But is that what Doug passed away from?
Sure. I don't know.
So what's the brother was a weird dude. Like if he showed up on America's Most Wanted or some kind of Netflix series, like
Wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, I
not
thought
a shocker
yeah,
there.
yeah, we all saw that one kind
Yeah.
of thing. So he dies. Doug dies.
Doug dies, which that was not
Yeah.
expected, but not a surprise because he was like, 300 pounds. He smoked like he's just chain
Yeah,
smoker.
I don't think I
just like-
ever didn't see him. I don't think he walked either.
I
He
never
just
saw him
rode
walk.
his gator around.
I never saw him walk. Yeah, and so he dies, and then it's like what, a couple months later,
Maybe 2 months later.
the son wasn't, but in his like 20s,
Yeah.
and he was a little bigger, but like
Not-
overall
yeah.
healthy-ish. Yeah. Then randomly he died.
So we're
Out of nowhere?
still waiting on the Netflix series. What we're
Yeah, something
basically
happened.
getting to.
Something happened.
Yeah, but that place was awesome. It was so cool because for me it was 20 minutes. They didn't care really who came out and lived 2 miles from there. Even if we just needed to shovel something, basically once every 6 months we'd have Shu come out and reface it. But
Yeah. Other than
and the
that,
ground was great for holding in water and didn't really need like much attention, and it would just
dirt was perfect. I
dirt was
mean,
good.
the track maintained itself. We had to keep sides of the jumps and stuff trimmed and whatever, but yeah, I mean, we had to do very minimal stuff to the track to keep it rideable.
it was perfect. It was
Almost.
almost like sandy in some spots
Mhm.
too, where you want it to be or
Mhm.
rush down.
Yep.
So on to the next one. Raise your hand if you unknowingly walked naked through Redbud.
It was
Unknowingly.
knowingly. It was knowingly.
No, I thought you didn't know.
No, you're right.
Unknowingly.
You're
Alright.
right. No, I had no idea.
So we're there for one of the nationals in like 2016, and we were parked right where enter the gates. You'd make a right, and we're kind of right in that little spot right there. So the racing is done. The nationals over. I want to say it was Saturday night. You go and shower. Getting out of the shower, I just happened to walk by where the people would be sitting to get you into the gate, and there was a trash can there. I was throwing something away. As I throw it away, I look down because they don't allow glass bottles inside Redbud. As I look down, there's a trash can full of unopened liquor bottles. Yeah, it was awesome. And I was just like, oh, so there's too many. You're not just going to take a few.
Right.
So I just
Might as well
walked
take
back.
'em all.
You're in a towel. And I was like, Joe, you got to give me a hand. He's like, what? I'm like, just come here. You got to see this. So you walk over there. We just reach over the fence, pull the whole trash can over.
55-gallon drum
55
trash can
trash can.
with a case of Zimas,
There wasn't a
Bartles
lot
and James.
of the good stuff. I think there was a bottle.
There were a couple of
whiskey
bottles
and
of
some
whiskey in
vodka
there.
and
It
stuff
was
like that.
it was worth it.
But
Not like y'all were picky or anything.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
yeah.
Not at that
free
juncture.
is me. Free is definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, as we're walking back, my wife, his girlfriend are sitting there in the chairs looking
My
right at
wife.
him, and he hit the 55-gallon barrel, knocked his towel loose, and he's just one hand's holding the towel, the other hand's holding the trash can, but he's just looks like what is it, Linus? Where
With his blanket.
with his blanket, just dragging.
Yeah.
He's just naked through Redbud. Big old smile on his face, not caring.
Oh,
the
Linus
world.
isn't the kid with the dust cloud, right?
That's
'Cause
Pigpen. That's
Okay,
Pigpen,
because you're like
yeah.
a combination. You would be Pigpen.
Oh, between the chicken
Plus-
shit and the
Yeah. You're definitely the
Oh,
two.
shit.
yeah. So, yep. So my
Yeah, that
wife,
was
my
awesome.
wife has got to see you naked.
All right,
So
okay.
Wow,
that's something
that's
that
a
will
privilege.
never get out of her mind. So,
That was a good score, though.
oh god. So, also, this wasn't the same weekend. This is for Motocross to Nations, but Redbud. You guys brought it up earlier before the show, so I know you want to bring it up again. Chick-fil-A.
Oh, brutal.
Afterward.
For you. Brutal.
Ah, on the way home.
Yeah, so I wake up at 3 a.m. And also, I should mention 4 days after we returned from Redbud, I had knee surgery. Because that was the other time I blew my ACL out. And which 2018? Had to be.
Yeah,
Because
I
that
think
was,
so.
we announced to you, Megan announced to you that she was pregnant with Brayler at that race. So I wake up at like 3 a.m. or like 4-ish, or the sun was just
It was-
starting to come
yeah,
out.
Yeah.
So I had to poop. I'd been drinking liquor all weekend, and I just had to go. And it was that mud fest.
It was a mud fest.
The pits
Oh,
were
boy.
so gnarly. It took us an hour and a half to get out, and like 10 people pushing us. Right?
Mhm.
That was when I had the box
Oh
van.
yeah, that was
So
bullshit. We
I
were
walk
getting pissed
a-
at people that wouldn't stop and help.
yeah, that too. So I tried to walk to the porta potty, and I'm like, I'm not making it.
There was
I'm-
that trash pile.
And meanwhile, the
not
porta
making it.
potty's like 50 yards away, so he can't make it 50 yards. Keep that in mind. This
Right.
is getting mission critical.
Yeah. So there was a trash pile right next to your tent, and I had to do what I had to do. There's a lot of shit talk on this show already.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is pretty shitty.
This wasn't planned to have this much shit talk
No.
on the show, but true story. So I did what I needed to do, and we had TP with us and did our thing. And on the drive home,
Okay, so this is why your ass was a little raw already.
I just needed a rewipe. We all need
Yeah,
a rewipe sometime.
Every time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, so I walk into the Chick-fil-A bathroom and I see wet wipes in the bathroom. I'm like,
How
I'm gonna
convenient.
get a
Thank God.
good
Wet
Chick-fil-A.
wipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a good wipe here, and then open it, do my thing, and realize that it's a hand sanitizer wipe.
Alcohol.
99%
Yeah, it was an
alcohol.
So it was burning really bad, and the worst part, and I blame still being hungover, the fact that I was like, maybe it just hurt the first time. The second time
Oh,
won't feel so
Jesus.
bad. So I hit it again, and I'm like, it
Try two
still
fingers
hurts.
this time.
It still burns. It still burns.
Yeah.
All right, enough shit talk.
Seriously.
Like actual feces.
Is that all we've got here? Is that
So,
our trio's
fecal
our
fascination,
trio's
yeah.
bonded over shit?
Do we bring up the van? Joe got peed on?
That's different. It's not shit. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've peed on Joe.
I'm with that one.
Well, things
So-
happen on a road trip.
It was on the way from we do like a bi-yearly trip to Florida where we'll hit up like 3 tracks along the way. We'll end at Croom, do 2 days at Croom or so, and we'll come back.
Or Croom, Spider, Waldo
Oh yeah,
in North Florida.
yeah. So we even one year
Oh,
collected
yeah.
a bunch of dirt from the different tracks we were at and made a little bottle, and I gave that to everybody. I believe for the liquor we were drinking on the trip, we just saved those
Correct.
bottles.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're driving from
We were-
North
that-
Florida MX to Waldo, and we had already started drinking while we were loading.
Which
and
is-
I just
Waldo's Tampa-ish.
no Waldo's
no?
more Jacksonville. It's in between Jacksonville and Orlando or Ocala.
Okay. Because I thought we were driving to one of your family members' house. Tampa-ish.
Jacksonville.
Okay. You got a
Um,
lot of family down there.
I'm from there, so I mean it makes sense why I'm such a shit show. Is that
Trashy Florida shit. Yeah.
I would be in the headlines as Florida man. Yeah. Anyways,
But I remember I'm driving, right?
I'm passenger. He's in the
And
back
y'all are
of the box truck.
Just getting shitty
Getting loaded. Yeah.
while I'm driving.
We, sir, we would not drink alcohol while we're driving. That is illegal. Stupid.
Correct.
And nobody would drink while somebody is driving.
No.
Continue
Correct.
with the story.
No.
We had already drank a lot.
Yeah.
And we were just heading to the next destination.
And,
And
yep.
then we didn't want to stop.
Nope.
So we're doing 40-ish. And I just said,
At least at
we
like,
weren't on the interstate. I wouldn't have done it on the interstate.
No, we weren't on the interstate. But
Sure.
I mean,
I'm
we were
pretty sure
we
I
were
wouldn't do
trucking
it on the
along down a
interstate.
highway.
It was
It was dark.
It was a 2-lane highway. It was dark outside.
It was at night.
And I just had to pee. So I was like, I'm just going to go up as close as I can to the window, make a seal, and do my business. And then I happened to look back as I'm going, and Joe's just getting misted.
There was no mist about it, pal. I was getting
Strong
pressure
mist.
washed.
Okay, it was
Yeah.
it was a high volume mist. And what's funny about that, if the roles were reversed, I would have probably punched you.
You would have been
I
pissed
would have
off.
been pissed off
Yeah.
and punched you, but you were wasted enough to where you're just like,
That's cool.
oh, well, actually, this goes back to the chicken shit show. I've been pissed on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do still feel bad about that, if I'm honest with you.
All right, well, that's good to know that you feel
And
bad about
That
it.
wasn't the only pissing that was going on, though, right? What did we just talk about where somebody handed somebody a Red Bull can?
yeah.
Yeah, so Joe needed to go, and all we had is
And you're in the
empty Red
back of
Bull
the
I'm in
bus.
the back of the
Yeah.
the box
and
fan.
and so you started like, I'm gonna fill this up. I was like, you're not gonna fill up 8.4 ounces. What are you talking about?
8.4.
It was the small Red Bull.
Yeah,
It was more
yeah.
so
Yeah.
about not being able to do anything with the tip and the hole. and
Yeah.
the-
We've all seen it. It will fit in there.
Uh,
At Redbud, we've seen. One thing I did want to say during that story, and I fucking missed an opportunity, saying ball swinging one way, Johnson swinging the other. Like,
Ah.
woof, woof, woof. So, yeah, I give you that. You start to fill it up. You're like, I'm topping. And we must have been parked because I was drinking a beer.
Right.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
I quickly chugged it and handed him the beer bottle,
Okay.
and he barely made
was
it in
able to
there.
finish it off
Okay.
in that.
But since
Yeah.
then, we've found out that if you give the man what he wants, like you're like, hey, I need a 16-ounce bottle, I need a 22-ounce bottle, I need a 32-ounce bottle.
You know what
He
you got
will-
in the tank?
He will
Exactly,
fill
yeah.
that thing
Yeah.
up to
Yeah.
the T. Like he's
Huh.
just well regimented, I guess.
Wow.
I,
The
mean,
last
I don't
few-
know.
yeah,
Tell
well-
us your trick.
Well,
What's
the
your
last few
secret?
times Shy and I went camping, I've actually taken a 1-gallon tea jug in with me now, because over the course of a night, I'm working with a 1-gallon jug now. and
Wow.
stuff. So, yeah, I'm pretty good at
Bump
doing the
those
math.
numbers up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at doing the math. I know how many beers equals how many ounces. Got the equation.
So that leads me to be concerned a little bit. Last time you had your prostate check.
I ain't worried about none of that.
You should be. You're old enough.
Yeah,
You should have had that checkup.
Look, if your
Yeah.
balls are halfway down to your knee, you gotta be there.
Oh, well, am I supposed to do that at 32? There's
I'll
you
go
don't
to
go to the
doctor in the
doctor,
site detail.
which
I
leads
don't even
right
go to the
in,
doctor right now.
which leads
Seth
right
and
into the
Flo,
next next story I want to bring up. That box truck.
Oh shit! I know where you're going with this.
Well, go ahead and tell us.
No, let it rip. You got the story plan. Fire
So
away.
I had my box truck built with a 16-footer. Halfway through was a divider, a wall, where I beautifully built this pocket door from scratch, and bikes fit in there perfectly. So we're at Lane Wilson's house riding, and I load my bike into there and put it on the left side. And I didn't think that you'd ride it in. I figured you kind of just wait for me and I'll ride it in. And I happened to look over and you're riding in. You've got your hat on and you don't see the top of it, and you just whack the shit out of your head, whiskey
Right.
throttle past me, take out my beautifully installed new door, and then you just, because your hat's off at this point, you go, because you're on the ground looking at me, and I'm like, what? He's like, I split my head open. I'm like, what? No, it can't be that bad. But also, I'm trying to figure out what fuck just happened, because all I know is you just whiskey throttle past me, and I actually had to jump out of the way.
I almost did clip you.
Yeah. And actually, I think you hit the door trying to miss me. So you move your hand, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, it's bad. You just had a nice little horseshoe, right?
Yep.
Right in the top of it. So we finished loading up quickly, and we're on our way. You're arguing with us if you need to go to the doctor or not. And then finally, Megan's like, you need to go get staples. So we took you to an urgent care. And that's when I found out that you were terrified of doctors and needles, all this stuff. Because then Megan tells me afterwards that you were like trying to be a cool guy. You're like, hey, come in with me. And if I'm telling this wrong, you can. But I'm
Well,
pretty sure
you-
I've got this right.
Y'all left out the part where Lane was pissed off, right?
Elaine was pissed
That
off.
Joe,
at you.
that you're like, yo, you brought this goon here, and then he's gonna have a liability claim on me after busting his shit open on my property.
But yeah, so Megan told me when she's in there with you, you're just like, Meg, you gotta hold my hand. I can't do needles. I can't do it well.
I'm there too.
Oh no, I definitely needed some support that day.
Yep.
I don't. Needles had never bothered me.
Troy wanted to know about
Question.
something
Yep.
related.
When you
to
build a
WTF.
website,
What's that?
Not that question. Troy wanted to know something about WTF and Lane Wilson's house in a magazine. Something.
I'm not gonna bring
I
that
don't
one
know
up.
the story.
I'm not gonna bring that story
I just
up,
was
but
asked if you could mention it, but I don't know about that.
so I'm not gonna bring up that story because I don't know if Drew wants me to or not, and I want him and Parker on
They should be.
at some point, and I'm gonna bring that up, and maybe some other stuff that Parker and I got into at some point. Maybe not.
I mean, there's like a lot that went on at WTF that could or could not be
yeah.
talked about here. So
What's funny is there was one time we were there, and Billy and Parker, they were all 17 or so at the time, and they're basically just drinking. And some neighbor didn't like the fact there was a track there, so they called the cops. Cops show up. Kids are underage drinking. Da da da. Apparently, it's legal in Georgia if your parents are there. Yeah.
Really?
So
Oh,
the
okay.
parents were
I've
there,
never heard that.
and the cops came, and they're like, yeah. So.
Okay.
So this next story, or it's actually a video. Let's play it. This one, I know we're during our other ones we're gonna mute the mics, but we'll let this one play out. So walk me through, Brandon. What happened?
Based off the title, I do got mad skills. Yep. 10 years ago, I was real fast back then.
So-
Honda 250 at
So
Monroe.
Daniel's
Scrubbing
filming.
dirt. Daniel's on a 450.
I'm right in front of him.
This is just when I'm starting to get some confidence. I'm thinking I'm starting to figure it out. I've been riding with y'all for
All
a
right,
while.
That's you in front of me, I believe.
Y'all were
now.
faster than me. We were trying to wheelie this roller section the whole day. I wanted to keep the front end up through the whole thing. So here we go. Tote the front end. Yeah. There it comes. I rolled out of it really gracefully,
He
though.
did some nice slow mo for us here.
Yeah.
So right there. Yep.
And yeah,
Look, you were completely off the ground at one point as well.
I was
Rear tire completely up, and yeah.
I was
and I-
committed.
I want to point out that I'm the nice friend that I stopped. Oh wait,
You looked.
I stopped to check on you. Look at these Michael Jackson moves, moving backwards.
Yep. So Daniel looks and then he turns back around and says,
Right.
Fuck it.
And just yep. Seat bounced down the hill. Yep.
Yeah, that was I think one of my favorite moments ever.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pivotal moment in my MX career.
Don't know how fast you can go till you crash.
That's right. You don't know 07 CRF 250 has enough power to loop out until you hold it open.
That was that the 07 I traded you your 05 for. And
Yeah.
that thing was actually, that was Chris Hall's old bike. That was a good bike.
Mm-hmm.
It
It was because I traded you my 05, which had like 250 hours on it.
we're already at 45 minutes.
Yeah, it went quick.
So I did want to just get into like the beginning, how you guys got into riding and all that stuff. So maybe we'll come back for that if we get that. But I do, because this isn't just a show about dirt bikes. This is also a show about motorcycles, dual sport, whatever it is. Anything motorcycle related is what I want the show to be about.
Couches.
So I'm okay with having jet skis in.
Stand-ups.
Stand-ups.
It was a bit of a
Rather quit than sit.
in his defense, he was a pro jet ski racer.
Pro points.
25
Pro
years
national
ago.
points.
So, but you've got a
shit,
really
it was
cool
damn near.
story about Sturgis on your Triumph, right?
I don't know how cool it was, but yeah, I got a little Sturgis story. I think it was 04 maybe. Yeah, just loaded her up in the truck. It was 71 Bonneville T120 650. Cool bike, nice. I really enjoyed that bike. So I figured out what the hell, I'll go out to Sturgis, link up with my mom and dad. They had already rode out there a couple days prior. They'll show me around. They'd been out there a few times, and they'll give me the hot line. So was it maybe first or second day we'd got there. I'm riding. Mom and Dad were riding into town. We're going to go hit a bar, get a beer, and clutch cable breaks. where the hell am I going to get a clutch cable for a 40-year-old motorcycle? Well, Barnett was there. So Barnett made me a custom clutch cable in about 15 minutes.
Damn.
Popped it on. I'm back in business. Thinking, all right, awesome. Sturgis is saved. It's okay. I'll get to ride a little. Next day, we're gonna go ride through the Badlands. So about halfway through the Badlands, damn, chain snaps. Oh shit! It's 100 degrees. I got no water, no nothing with me, and we're 60, 70 miles from anything. So I just sit on the side of the road with my bike, baking in the sun. Mom and Dad ride back to town, 60, 70 miles, grab a chain and a chain breaker, ride back 60, 70 miles.
So how long were you out there then? Like hours?
Several hours, yeah, just baking. They come back, we throw the
More
chain
than one
on.
way.
Yeah, hey, and throw a chain on, ride back to town. It's cool. Next day, go to do some riding, fire the bike up, get halfway to wherever the hell I was going, and electrical unit broke. So there, you're not finding that here in Sturgis for a 40-year-old bike. So yeah, game over. So I drove 4,000 miles to ride.
How many miles total did you actually get to ride?
Not even 100, man.
No.
Not even 100. So I saw Sturgis in my pickup truck. Did all the, the Mount Rushmore
Sturgis-y
and
things.
Indian, yeah, all that.
If
all
these
that
new
stuff, yeah.
Triumphs or anything like those old Triumphs, shit.
No, the new stuff's good.
So
the new stuff's good.
Yeah, because they.
I had
Or
a
hold on, I
newer
think I know the
Bonneville.
problem here. It was probably your maintenance schedule.
Oh, hey,
we
going to
all
bring that
know
up.
Joe does no maintenance.
Hey,
yeah.
that is. Tell him what you did today for work.
He
What did I do? Oh,
WD-40s
yeah.
chains, but that's all I've ever seen.
Oh man, no, I was doing bike work today,
Okay.
man.
He
Draining
winterized all
cars
my
and
dad's
tanks
bikes.
and
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got my shit together a little bit. I'm not a complete hack in the workshop,
All I
man.
want to say is when we went to Florida and we had to do our header wrap for our pipes
Oh, yeah.
for the FTR race.
I thought I did them all.
Is it still on your
You
bike?
did
or-
do 'em all. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
it's
I
still
did.
on the
It's
bike.
still on there.
That's okay. It looked
Yeah.
cool, man.
The
I'm leaving it on.
silicone that was on the muffler
Yeah.
to put in the baffle.
Still on.
Still
there.
on there. Yeah, it worked. Oh god, that race was gnarly. That was the day I got like some weird sickness on the way down. And
Oh, I
for
remember
night
that.
Six
before.
Yeah.
hours I was dying. Literally thought I was going to die in the back of the RV while you guys were driving, and then at 3 a.m. I woke up and the fever broke.
At
And
least
I tried to race the next
at
day.
least 6 hours
That was
because
the Sprint Enduro, right?
FTR.
The Gator.
Alligator net sprint endurance. Yeah. This is when Joe still couldn't drive the motorhome, right? You're sick. I take off driving.
So you're driving 7 hours because
I-
it kicked in 40 minutes after we left.
I got like I don't know. I mean, I got like 9 hours into it, and we'd been fine cruising along. You were my crew chief. Was that what you were crew chief? You were sitting beside me, co-driver,
Co-driver.
whatever. Anyway, we're cruising along. We're doing
He's
fine. I mean,
handing
we
you
even
pee waters while
correct.
you're driving.
I mean, we even got in a pinch at a gas station where some asshole wouldn't let us. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I had to do a 3-point turn in the motorhome.
Mhm.
Anyway, we're like well into Florida. You finally wake up. You come up and oh, I think I feel a little better. And then like we're behind somebody, and you're like, whoa, slow down! You're tailgating them. And I was like, look here, asshole. I've been driving for 9.5 hours while you've been back there sleeping. Don't come up here and tell me how to drive now, you son of a bitch. I remember that. And then I don't know. We finally made it down to the alligator, but yeah, we did it.
All right, so
was a
we're
cool
gonna
race.
we're gonna try to wrap up this segment and get into our next one, which is interviews that I got at the track. So I'm gonna forewarn you that I didn't realize with this camera that I brought that it's just picking up like 60 audio. I've learned a lot since then. So there's certain ones that I can't play because the background noise is too off. David Brewer, sorry buddy, not gonna be able to play your video. But I did get like do you guys know Mackenzie Tricker?
Oh yeah.
So I did catch up to her and just bullshitted for about 27 minutes and got to talk some really good stuff about what she had to do with green cards, what she did get over here, just what she's doing now, which is pretty neat. So I'm going to play that story in a little bit. But before we get to that story, I want to bring up the fact that Joe is actually
Out past his bedtime?
definitely out past your bedtime.
Way.
We're no.
Way
You made
past.
sure to let me know that before we started this show. But this next segment is actually brought to you by Hard Knocks Racing. And who do we have in the studio is no other than the CFO of Hard Knocks Racing.
Take a bow.
I'd tell you to go ahead and tell us all about it, but I made this whole script and pitched for the segment, so I'm just going to off.
Let it rip, maestro.
Yeah. So, Hard Knocks Racing, they're a group of dedicated moto enthusiasts since 1988. They're your go-to for Campfire Moto Stories official gear and will soon launch their own apparel line. They excel in crafting all kinds of custom decals like this badass sign behind me. From custom signs to full bus wraps and office customization. I'm going to fuck this up a lot.
You already have.
But actually, I want to show this. So, this, you guys can't see it. So, this was actually something that Anthony, what's his official title if you're the CFO? He's the CEO. Okay.
CEO.
So, Anthony D'Amico, the CEO of Hard Knocks Racing, and also I should say D'Amico Art, he did this at one of the well-known Japanese manufacturer's office, who will remain nameless because I'm not sure if they want us saying. But anyways, they've also, or I should say, you've also crafted awards for the Perry Mountain 24-hour race, Mill Creek Spring Classic, Take a Hair Scramble Series, and many more for local tracks in the Southeast. So check out hardknocksracing.com. That's HARDKNOX racing.com. All right, so.
And they should be making the awards for Storks. If anybody wants to put a bug in Tammy and Eddie's ear, I know we've been screaming it for years now, but the plaques suck.
Hey, a lot of people tell me they make great firewood.
Really? I was just about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Great
Honestly,
firewood.
so what I started doing with all my Sorks awards, because I have so many, is I mean,
a lot of
they
second
go back
places. You have a lot of second places
from
from
2022. I had a lot of
2022,
second places.
A
Yes.
lot of second places.
Yeah.
That was your championship year, wasn't it?
It
Brandon?
was.
If I recall.
It's weird. The
I do
season
re-
started out where he talked all this shit and said that he was going to be the 30B
Which
champion.
microphone
And
is
I just decided to race last second and went home with the championship.
You came in
Weird.
cold, weren't training.
Right.
Yeah, I remember.
I don't know. Strange how that happens. Anyway,
Are you done?
uh,
You happy with
yeah.
that?
we were talking about the plaques suck.
Yeah. Anyways,
moving
I
on.
was talking about how I take the sheets out and 3-hole punch them and just put them in a fold, and then save the
That's
plaques.
actually not
for
a bad
the wood.
idea.
So like the first and seconds and third, I threw a lot of the seconds away. Actually, the first one you beat me where I got a second, which I think was round 3, I did right on the back. First time Brandon beat me, probably the last. And it turns out I was wrong. So, all right, let me pull up the interviews that are brought to you by Hard Knocks Racing. Go check them out. Good dudes. We'll say, guys, don't do motocross graphics. You've done them for us the past years. Awesome, but that's just, it's not your thing.
That's for the teammates only. We keep that in house. Keep that tight to our vest. And
Go to the website. You'll see some like really cool ones that they've done in the past. You can't get that. You'll never get this. You'll never get this.
an exclusivity, baby.
All right, so we're gonna cut our mics so you guys can hear this story. Probably get some new beer. Drinking over there, some
A
scofflaw.
little scofflaw.
Good
Yeah, man.
scofflaws.
Good brews.
Good enough.
Good
Pretty
brews.
They're
Yeah,
actually
man.
local here too in Atlanta. Maybe one day they'll be a sponsor of a segment.
Yeah.
Always looking for more. All right, here we go. Cutting the mics.
This is Mackenzie Tucker. Came over here from New Zealand. Awesome. Oh, same shit. Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to see if you punched things. All right. Yeah, okay. So, shit, what was the year you came over? 2010?
No, it came at the end of 2011.
Okay. That was when we met because you were good friends with Lindsay, who was friends with me at the time.
I didn't meet Lindsay till, I think, 2012. The end of 2012.
Okay,
Yeah, so
so
I came to
then you're-
videos in 2011, and then went home, and then came back to area and regionals in 2012, and did Loretta's, and then went home and came back to videos. I think that's when I met Lindsay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I probably met you in 13 or maybe then 12.
then it was 2013 Atlanta Supercross we went to together.
Yeah.
Do you remember what I was doing to fuck with you? We were walking around.
I remember because I come and stayed at your dad's house. And
Well, you were, you were just like, we'd go to escalators. I'd be like, so these are escalators. Like, hey, we have these in Australia.
Oh, no, I don't remember that, but I mean, I know you. I bet you probably would do that.
Yeah, so that was just funny. I was like, oh, I wonder if she remembers me fucking with her.
I don't.
I do remember, I can't remember if you were there that day. We spent like 40 minutes getting the bolts out of the front fork cars. You remember that? They were seized in there.
Probably.
On that Yamaha that we had. We had to fuck around that forever.
Yeah, I think that race bike that I got, it had lots of little issues. I mean, I bought it secondhand, so it was always something.
That was when you were on the Rock River team?
Yeah, I had some support from Rock River in 2012 and 13. Well, 2012, yeah. It would have been the bike from 2012. Which I bought off a pretty good rider at the time, Paul Coates, and then, yeah, it was one of his race bikes, I think, 2011. Okay. At 13 and 14, I think I got new bikes. Or I may have raced that same bike in 2013, but from 14 onwards, I had new bikes. That's when then ended.
Yeah.
The new bike.
Much better.
Yeah.
So I've always wondered this about that. Was the deal? What was the deal for you to come over? It was just bikes and sport, or was there any kind of you were just surviving off the contingency?
So at first I didn't make anything.
You come with a budget?
No,
I mean, hey, here's this money to live off.
Yeah, also
don't go back.
My parents bought a bike in 2009 when I came over.
Okay.
I came for 3 weeks in 2009. Went home, came back for 3 weeks in 2010, and I had a bike. And then I raced videos 2011 on that same bike, and then we bought Paul Coates' old race bike in 2012. And then, as far as budgeting, like, I think I got $200 Australian a week from my parents, as far as, like, for me to live and kind of go racing. If I need a little bit of money here and there, they support me with that. But with the exchange rate, it obviously didn't come up to 200 US. I mean, the exchange rate back then was definitely a lot better than it is now. Like 100 Australian dollars now would only get you like 50 or 60 US dollars.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, and maybe back then, 100 Australian would be like 75 US. And that made out pretty good. I mean, I didn't spend money on anything other than really eating and going racing, really. 2014, though, when I kind of came and did a full year, I did have a fundraiser in Australia. Here in the West. So I did have like a lot of locals and family and friends. We did a bingo night, a trivia night, and that kind of helped me, go a little ways into that year. Like, so 2011, 12, I didn't make any money. 13, racing a couple of WMXs, I made a little bit, but not really because I just made the first, whatever the track paid. And then 14, I started making money, and then I was able to get an athlete visa as well to legally make money. Then, like, I was on a B1, B2 previous to that, so I was only able to make pay out for the track.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't able to get paid from anybody, but it didn't matter because I wasn't.
So you were to go work at McDonald's?
Yeah, no. If you were to go work at McDonald's or anything like that over here, you'd need like a valid a green card. Yeah. So like then when I got an athlete visa, I was only able to work as an athlete and be paid from the person that sponsors my athlete visa. It's very
so if like
confusing.
Alpine Star, somebody wanted to give you money, you still could get money from them because you're being an athlete.
Yeah, but you would have to like have them apply for their part of the visa. Like, it's confusing, but I've been through that, and now I'm actually on a green card, so I'm almost done the green card now.
Okay.
And then listen and have to worry.
Well, you conned your now husband into marrying you, so you don't need it. So
Yeah, right.
you're good.
If only it's that easy. I mean, there's still like everyone's like, oh, green cards and all this stuff. Like, they're like, you just get a green card and then you can just like work and stay here. I'm like, it is not that easy, and nothing. I'm looking forward to being good on the immigration because it's been ever
You
since
still going through that, even though you're married now.
Yeah, exactly. So like, we got married 4 years ago. I've had a green card for 3 years.
Oh, it's like 7 years. Or
So you have to have a green card. So a lot of people obviously get married just for green cards. And
Yeah,
they,
which is what you did. Of course.
it's not,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
yeah, a lot of people do, and then they go their separate ways. So part of the green card through marriage is you obviously prove you guys are married, and then you're granted the green card. After 2 years, you have to prove that you guys are still together, which we did that, but there's just such a long line that like I still haven't heard back on that. But
What you submitted 2 years ago?
I submitted it over a year ago because you submitted after 2 years, and you know, show all of your guys' history. Like we had land together, joint bank accounts, insurance, all that stuff, whatever. But then I'm about to be a resident for 3 years in 10 days, in the middle of June, and I then am eligible to become a citizen. But I can apply 90 days before that. So I've applied to become a citizen. But whenever I guess get my interview and that gets approved, then I have a oath ceremony, and then I could be granted citizenship. Then I got to go through the passport thing. Like it's never ending. But hopefully, once I get a U.S. passport in my hand, it'll be done with, and I'll be able to come and go, and I'll be dual citizenship.
Yeah.
Dual citizen. Yeah, I still keep my Australian citizenship. I'm currently obviously an Australian citizen, but I'm a US resident because I spent my time here. You can't have dual residency. Like I gave up my Australian residency, which I was on, lived here for however long now, but yeah.
Yeah, that's going on. Well,
Yeah, but at first I wasn't a resident. Like
Well,
I
you were
was not
coming back
here.
every
Yeah, I was
6
coming back and
months.
forth. Yeah.
you're pretty much living in summer.
Pretty well, yeah, and I mean, I still do in a way. I went home for Christmas for 3 months, or just under 3 months this past year, and I came back March 1st, and it was pretty nice, honestly. It's starting to get nice days, so you didn't have winter at all this year. Normally I come back like the end of January, start of January, depending on the season, and it's pretty cold.
You're in the south here anyway, so we south.
Well, it's cold, but it's really cold for me. At that
I grew up in Florida, so I get it. Yeah.
right.
It took me a while to get adjusted.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about any good crashes? Or
Good
best race you ever had?
crashes. Best race I ever had. Oh, I mean, honestly, I'm at a Loretta Lynn's rebuild right now. So, I mean, my 3 Loretta's titles are some of my best races for sure. As far as championship battles and things like that, I switched to off-road racing in 2017, and
Which you've been killing it at. How many championships?
I won 5 national enduro titles, a couple of sprints, one. I don't know how many, but I won some PNCC. I never won a championship. Just never really found my groove in it. I did okay, but not great. I didn't really enjoy it that much either, and that's always. And if you're not enjoying it, it's hard to do good.
Yeah.
But in 2022, I went to the last national enduro winner take all with a New Zealander, Rachel Archer.
Oh yeah.
And I basically I lost the race before that, which it didn't matter because of the way that the points worked. I would have still had to win the last race, but I lost by 0.3 of a second or something, and I was so mad. Like I was like, it's one thing to get beat, but it's another to get beat by that little.
Yeah.
And I was winning all day, and I did have a big crash, and it's whatever. I mean, I was so angry at the time. Like I about broke my hand. I punched my rear tire, sitting on the ground so hard when my husband told me how much I lost by. But I was just like, honestly, now I look back and I'm.
Because you're not head to head in those accidents.
No, you're on a different minute. So.
Yes.
Yeah, I was so mad, but honestly, like I look back now, I'm like, if I hadn't have lost by that little, it might not have given me as much motivation to go into that last race like I did. And I kind of went with the mentality, I'm either winning today or I'm crashing.
Yeah.
Like, and some people are like, man, that's a bad attitude to have. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to give it 150%. And if I give it that and I do good, I think I can win. If I give 150% and I get a little sketchy and crash, I mean, at least I crash. Like, I don't not obviously want to crash, but at least I, went out trying in a sense. I don't want to just settle for a second or ride around and just get absolutely like beat, So I won that day. I think I won every test. So for me, that day was honestly probably one of my best championship races. As far as my Loretta's titles, I would say my first 2 motos in those 3 years were where I won the championship, and then I was able to offer luckily that the third motos I was able to have a little meeting room. But yeah, other than that, I mean, had a lot of good and bad races over the years. Nothing is major standout other than that. I mean, crash wise, something that I talk about quite a lot as far as life lessons learned. I was in 2011, the first time my dad. I say he left me here, but he didn't because I wanted to stay over here for the following year, 2012. He came to Mini-O's. I won Mini-O's. My dad's like, we went back to MTF where we were kind of based out of, and he's like, hey, I changed the flight. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm going to leave you here for 3 weeks and see how you go if you want to come back next year. And I'm like, you changed my flight? Like, he kind of sprung it on me, like, and I was like, okay, like, I guess.
And at that point, it's what's done is done.
Yeah, I wanted to be here. He's like, I can't, you know, your mom and I, well, I think they were split up at the time, but they still were both involved in the family business. They can't afford to just be on the other side of the world. Like, they run their family business every day.
Which, from what I know, with my wife working at was very successful Marine.
Yeah, my parents growing up, yeah, built a awesome Marine dealership, and then my dad still runs it now.
We have people that come from Australia that my wife mentioned your name. They're like, oh yeah. Which how?
Ian.
Yeah. They'd be like, oh yeah, Ian.
Yeah, I mean, if people are involved in motorsports, marine, or even speedboat racing, I'm sure a lot of people, my dad, my parents.
And might be in the motorcycle.
Right.
I can go into any shop in Atlanta and say, yeah, my dad's name. They're like, oh yeah, tell me a story about it.
Right. Where was that at?
Crash.
Oh yeah,
you were-
not leaving.
you were pretty much,
Yeah,
thrown into the deep
so
end
he
of
left me
America
here, and then obviously my dad as well working on boats, being a mechanic growing up. He always looked after all of my bikes. He gave up his racing when I was kind of in my peak junior years to basically like focus on my racing, and he worked on my bikes, everything. So then when it came time to leave me here, it's like I didn't know anything. Like he did everything, which I'm super appreciative of, and I realized the hard way of how important it is because he told me, hey, like make sure oil in your bike, all that. Well,
tightening the chain. You know how to do that?
no, I don't think I knew how to. No, I didn't know how to do that.
You didn't know anything.
No, I honestly didn't know anything.
Setting
Oh, I think I probably know tire pressure. Yeah, yeah, but
One or two.
yeah, it was probably like I don't know, maybe a week after he left, I forgot to put oil in my bike. Tightened the oil bolt. I probably over tightened it, but I forgot to put oil in my bike, and I went off. Not really that big of a jump, but it was a double that had like a pretty high face to a low landing.
Yeah.
And obviously, of course, my bike seized in the air, and you know went over the bars. But if it had been more of a double that had a higher down ramp, I probably would have caught the ground
You
before.
kind of tuck and roll out.
Yeah, but I broke my shoulder, split my knee open real bad, and yeah, that was for me. It still haunts me to this day. I can hear the noise of the bike locking up.
Yeah.
And it's probably why I've never been the best and more confident jumper. But I never jumped stuff on the
Hold on.
lap
You
of
won how
practice.
many Loretta Lynn championships?
Yeah, but if you think
Not a confident. Oh, there's not a big jump
there's not many jumps at Loretta. When people say that, I'm like, hey, but think about the jumps at Loretta.
Yeah.
There ain't that many big jumps. Well, that being said, I mean, I raced a lot of WMXs, and there was some pretty decent sized jumps. And for me, it's like just second or third lap, you gotta hit it. The longer it goes, the worse it gets. The more I think myself.
If you don't do it within the second or third lap, sometimes you don't do it for the whole.
Yeah, and I'm not really one for if I didn't do it in practice, I'm not gonna do it.
I went to Millville to race amateur day this past year, and I talked to people online. I'm like, hey, how many laps of practice did they get? They go 2.
Yeah, well, that's what we got this morning, and I was like, you know, for regional practice on a Friday seems to be like a bonus, like it's a money for the track and that. But then
and they only give you 2 practice sessions.
Well, yeah, I
you
got
have to
7.
sign up for multiple classes.
Well, like, you couldn't do that, so I tried to do that yesterday, and since I wasn't qualified in other classes, I paid my money and I got 7 laps. We did a 4-lapper and a 3-lapper, which kind of sucks because, like, I mean, it's not 7 laps. It's lovely. It's not even this. I mean, I guess if we do 15-minute moto, it's going to be 7 laps. But today, though, 2 laps for the regional practice. Like, if somebody had to work or had some type of other obligation yesterday, they've never been in the track, and then they have one class, and maybe they're on the border of making it or not making it. You know, those extra 5 laps or 6 laps that other people had yesterday would make a huge difference. I mean, not everybody can learn a track in 2 laps. You know, you got your pro nationals that some day actually, and they get 20 or 25-minute sessions for practice. Like, So it's kind of like,
Yeah,
I know it's
you think the amount of people, I can understand how,
Yeah.
how and why they have to do it that way. There's 2 laps, 4.
Yeah,
I literally had to
100%.
go down the line, and I was like, you race your lap? Yeah. Are you going to jump everything in the first lap? No. And
Yeah.
oh, you are? Because I was at the front of the line. So I was like, all right, I'm going after you. Just
Yeah,
had to-
follow him.
yeah.
Yeah.
At a national track.
Yeah.
Literally, like, had to jump every jump on the
Well,
first
that's
lap.
what's tough with us when we're not in the women's class. I mean, when we are in the women's classes, most of the time, only probably 5 to 10% of the class jumps off the jumps.
Yeah.
Especially the big jumps, maybe even less from time to time. So it's like yesterday, there's a pretty decent sized uphill triple here, and I was like, got up there, and every time there was like 6, 7 people, 8 people ahead of me. And I'm like, how long are these riders good? Are they going to jump? I don't know. I've been out of moto for I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who these people are.
And it sucks the worst when you're looking at somebody like they're jumping in, and then
Yeah.
You're-
Then it's like you don't want to follow somebody off and then roll it, or you're trying to size it up. Like, hey, did I just see somebody hit it? Like, whereas if you're in one of the B classes, it's pretty much bound. There's
Everybody.
only 5 to maybe 5% are not jumping it.
Yeah.
Whereas the women's class is flipped.
Yeah.
So it's yeah. I mean, it's what it is. But yeah, we're back out here racing some moto. It's been 8 years.
So you just got third in your first moto.
Yeah, it was not good. I used to be a very good starter, and I absolutely
Third gets
blew
you
the
a ticket.
start. Yeah, it does, 100%. And that's the goal for this weekend, is just to get, top 6, which will take me to the ranch, and I've got 6, 8 weeks now to, hammer down. I didn't plan to race Loretta's at all until end of April. So I think I have 15 hours on this bike, and that's also while managing a full-time job every single day, riding motorcycles. So I get done work, and I've rode motorcycles all day, and I go and ride motorcycles again, and
So
go to
tell,
sleep and do the same thing again.
tell
the
them
next
what
day.
you're doing.
Yeah, so I'm an instructor at BMW in Greer, South Carolina, or Spartanburg. BMW has a couple of big plants there, and they make all of the X models, I think, except for the X1 cars there. Across the street from the plant, they have a place called the Performance Center, and they do all type of car classes, which is like obviously their main priority, which they sell a lot of, is their cars. So they have all type of car classes from just your regular school, like just to learn some basics, to M series and M school, to teen drivers, to people who buy new BMWs and having them delivered to the performance center, and they get them hand over there, as well as a little bit of track time and some tours in the factory and things like that. But then what I do is I'm an instructor for the motorcycle side of things. So BMW has a adventure off-road fleet of motorcycles, as well as their on-road fleet. So yeah, I've been an instructor for about 3 years now. I'm full-time there. I put me full-time in September last year when I was talking about retiring full-time. So yeah, from September last year to now, I've been full-time, and yeah, it's awesome. I love being able to ride. It's better than sitting at an office desk, for sure. It's definitely different.
I do all day, so thanks.
It's definitely different to what I've grown up doing. Like, obviously, I've done plenty of instructing over the years, but mainly racing orientated, and younger kids and things like that. Definitely a little different clientele that I'm dealing with. A little bit older clientele. I'm not dealing with 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 8-year-olds, things like that. And the more these people are coming to learn to be safe. I mean, as well as I'm teaching a motocross rider to be safe, we're also looking to go fast. So biggest thing about the people that come to the performance center is, real life safety, and like we have an on-road class that's street survival. It's teaching them how to ride, but also teaching them how to prepare for all the other things that are out there. You got drivers and debris in the road and things like that. But obviously, coming from an off-road background, I love the off-road classes, and yeah, like I said, it keeps me busy. And then right now I'm working almost every day. Get off work, go down to 101. My friends Jessica and Eddie, they have a facility down in Graythorne, about an hour from my house, and
Daniel Blair's there.
and Daniel Blair, he's been there probably now for like a year, but obviously being out of moto, never really had much to do with Daniel since he's been there, other than I've now trained with him, I think, 2 afternoons. Me or Daniel Black? Oh, I don't know. I've never read this.
Oh, I thought you just said.
No. Like he's just been the trainer.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, I'm sure he's faster than me. I've got no idea. Yeah. I'm coming from the couch, right? But yeah. So it's been. I'm extremely busy. But it's fun. I was just saying it just like a month ago. We were doing some spots and I'm getting a little bit better. And I'm like, that was better. I'm like, it's not that I like am learning and relearning this. It's like I know how to do it. It's just remembering how to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you know how to ride, you don't lose it. But it sometimes will take a little bit to come back. And obviously racing off road for I think it's been 8 years or 7 years or something. It's just so different. You know, for the GNCCs, it's 2 hours. I mean, it's intense, 100%, but you can't ride 150% in 2 hours. Natural enduro, it's more sprint, but I'm also going through tight trees, and then I'll get on a road, and I'm riding blind trails, so as well. I mean, it's intense, but you're not ever going hand in hand with anybody.
I think all of it makes somebody a better, well-rounded rider. Like when I started doing wood racing, I noticed it improved moto. But I also noticed that I took a lot of stuff from moto and applied it to wood.
Oh, 100%.
And I was way more advanced than somebody that just started doing it.
Yep.
Like, right off the bat.
Oh, 150% if you've had a motocross upbringing, switching to woods would be easier.
Yeah.
But if you've only raced woods, it's going to be difficult to go to motor.
Yeah. Mainly the jumping.
Jumping and intensity. You can carry your intensity from moto to woods in a way. At first, I think what caught me off guard a lot was the roots and just trying to go as fast as I can. Yeah. Roots just jump out. I remember I went to a sprint enduro and I was on my Suzuki, so I was really still racing moto at the time. But there wasn't that much racing, so I did a couple of sprint enduros as well. And I remember like we had 6 tests for the weekend. I crashed in every single woods test, and I was just like, my goal is just to make it through the race, through and down to that one. And I don't think I did that one thing, but I think get better throughout the year. And then even when I switched to KTM, like the GNCC, like 2 hours is pretty good if you can make it 2 hours without over. And there was plenty of races in the end that I did make it 2 hours without crashing, but like my goal is like at first just make it through without crashing. Like you use so much more energy when you do tip over and things like that. But
not even crashing too, even if you just do like a side and you get out of rhythm.
Yeah, 100%.
You can be feeling okay and then just defeated after that or just inflated with energy.
Oh yeah.
And then it seems like it takes you with woods racing like another mile or two to get back into that groove.
Yep.
Yeah. And the thing like with roots that I found and it sneak up on you if they're at that angle. You almost have to like see that it's coming, either go at an angle or just like turn the wheel into it.
Yeah, that's
what you
one thing I think I really picked up, especially even with National Enduro, is like where your front wheel placement is so important.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter as much, but you know, it can slide here and there, but your front wheel placement is like so important. Whereas motocross, I mean, it's obviously important, especially if you have edges and stuff, but it's nowhere near as important as racing like a National Enduro when you have routes that are at an angle, you know, potentially a massive route that you've got to, it's being chewed out, people being stuck on it, and the way to go over that, and, you know.
When they might have some bark or some grip on it, and it's gone the next time.
And add rain to it, and it makes it even more exciting, so.
Oh, this one, it's been what, 7, 8 years?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't even remember the last 2 seasons, probably that long.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I showed up here this weekend and I seen Brandon Haas from Club MX. I hadn't seen him probably since 2015, 2016 maybe. I seen Colleen Millsap. I haven't seen her since 2016. I seen my mechanic that helped me in 2015 for the WMXs. And Loretta's. I haven't seen him probably since 2015. I may have seen him at an outdoor or something maybe once or twice after that, but I also haven't kept in contact with these people that much either. And just he's a familiar faces that I'm sure they probably like look at me like, is that who I think it is? And I'm like, is that who I think it is?
Yeah, you rode past me and I go, Mackenzie?
Yeah, there's so many people. I'm like, it's crazy. I come back to the moto, and there's obviously a lot of people that I know and remember, but there's a lot of people that I don't know. And one of the funny things, actually, I went to my area and I had a jacket on, no numbers, nothing, and like my husband and me were just down at the line, and it's like most of the people probably like don't even know who I was. Yeah. Until maybe they see my name on the results, and they may not even know me. I mean, if they're younger younger and upcoming and they haven't learned race clothes for like 8 or 9 years. So if they haven't followed racing and they're newer and maybe they're a younger girl, they probably have no idea who I am. Yeah, so it's definitely different, but it's cool.
Crazy to hear you say that too, because there's girls should know you that too. But even at the level like Shea Bent, 2001, like champion, right? For Supercross. I'm at Calhoun 6 months ago, and he's on the line behind me. He's on the starting line. He's not racing.
Yeah.
I turn around and it's like, Shea, hey, what's up? And so we get chit chatting, and I'm on the line with schoolboy 12 to 15. So Shea walks away. I'm looking at the kids next to me. I go, do you guys even know that you just had a Supercross champion standing right next to you?
Right.
They're like, what? Who? Really? And I'm like, yeah, that was Shea Bentley. We're like, who?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
How do you not know this stuff?
Right. Yeah, I mean, you get forgotten about quickly in probably every sport, but it's honestly also nice. Like, I show up and I don't really know anybody, and
Well, you don't have a target on your back, too.
oh, exactly.
I'm sure you had a target on your back going to Loretta. So
Oh, for sure. But I mean, the girls that you know, I would consider competition. I'm sure they know who I am. You know,
Yeah.
some of them are still from when I was racing, so they definitely know who I am. And then there's a couple of, obviously you said you met another Australian, Taylor Jones. I've raced with her for 20 years, so she knows who I am. And Corey won the first moto. She races off road, so the women's side of things is a small community, but there's just a lot of the girls that are maybe a little further back in the pack that I have no idea who they are, and they probably have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
Haven't done any motor races other in my area and this race weekend, so yeah, it's good to be back, and it's not going to be forever. Like people are like, oh, you're going to keep racing? I'm like, no, I'm gonna race Loretta's and then go back to retirement.
Yeah, it was awesome to catch up.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I'll maybe get to see a little bit more once I heal up. I get back to that.
Yeah.
I do plan to get out to next level sometime.
Yeah, well, I think they have Road Classic beginning. I think October or September. That's always.
I get released to ride in September.
Yeah,
so
cool. That's
I was
always
thinking about doing
one of the best races I think for the year that they have. I can't say I haven't raced moto and I haven't raced it, but I know that that's when they get their most turnout and that's their biggest race of the year. There's a lot of preparation and stuff goes into that race, and that's what they always look forward to. So, yeah, if there's a race to go to, I would say go down for that one.
Yeah,
and,
we're gonna link up for that one. I'll bring the motorhome and the fam.
Yeah.
And the mic's back on.
Yep.
We're back. Well, before I get into any of the next segments or any of that stuff, I just want to go over quickly again about the ways to earn entries for the 2002 YZ250 German McGrath replica bike that I fully rebuilt myself. Might want to go over it.
Check it over.
Yeah, you might want to check that over if you win it. Actually, I put in all the official rules stuff that it's a show bike. Should not be ridden. And
Well, just check torque specs because you went off Ugga-Duggas and
at least 5 Ugga-Duggas on every Ugga-Dugga,
Right.
though. But anyways, the ways to earn entries is call the Campfire Moto Storyline, which is 844-789-2367, and it gives you a chance to leave about an 8-minute long story. Call in, say your story. They'll send it right to me. From there, if your story gets played on, you get 100 entries into the bike giveaway. If you come in studio, you get 100 entries in the bike giveaway. If you call in live and get selected, you get 75 entries. There's a lot of different ways you can actually earn entries. So if you actually go to the website, campfiremotostories.com, and read all the official rules, see all the different ways you can. So also, soon, we're going to be doing the live segment calling. So anybody who's listening to this live, if you want to call in, banter back and forth, talk trash about how crappy this show is, to do so. And you might get entries to that. So that number again, 844-789-2367. Also, by submitting a story or calling in live, that means you have read the terms and conditions them and read the official rules. So, oh yeah, and if your story involves somebody else, you might want to get permission from them to hear that story. Oh, just a little thought on that.
Is that for their legality or your?
I think for, I don't care.
Okay, whatever.
So, all
You're
right,
not
back to our
insured.
in-studio guest. Joe, You look a little different, Joe.
A little bit. Speaking of calling in live, call in and make fun of me a little bit for this.
Yeah, so
Laugh at my pain.
so this is actually my buddy John. He showed up while we were watching Mackenzie's story. So he got my number through a friend of friend, Heath Burton, and called me up and was like, "Hey, I've got a CR250. It lost compression, and he said that you're a good mechanic, and I need you to rebuild it." And I was like, "I'm super busy, like putting together this other bike, and I got another one that just came for needing the top end." I was like, "Give me like 3 weeks, and I'll get back to you." So you got a little anxious, and what did you do?
Jump the gun. Bike's been sitting for a little bit, and this is a Facebook Marketplace steal. And
Finding the bike.
yes, finding the bike.
You didn't steal it.
No,
Yeah, okay.
No, I wasn't sure if he
Okay.
was leading into how he found this guy.
Hopefully it's not stolen.
We know
So,
all
yeah.
about stolen bikes.
Yeah. One of those situations where the wife said, "Don't do it. You've been stupid," and went to go get a bike, picked it up, and we've got a 1-year-old little guy, and I wanted to get her like maybe CRF 150 pickup stroke. Growing up, just riding XR 200s, like fun little bikes, and I wanted to get back into riding. I wanted to get back into something we could do as a hobby together. Kind of lose that kids having fun with your spouse. I'll be on the weekend. So picked the bike up and got it home. It'd been sitting for a while, and someone to help me out. And it was one of those situations. You call different shops. They're like, "Yeah, we don't work on anything past 2010. We don't work on
Yeah,
anything
usually
past
it's 10 years or
2014,
older.
10 years
a lot
or
of the
older."
shops. Yeah.
So it's got to be kind of word of mouth. And it's got to be a friend of a friend or this and that, and to even find anyone to work on it. And then when you do find someone to work on it, they're, "Buddy, I can't touch it for 4 months," or "I'm booked up. I mean, you were 3 weeks, but I got a little anxious, and someone reached out. I made a post, "Hey, someone can help me do a top end." Everyone's like, "Oh, they're super simple. Do it yourself." But it kind of came down to, oh, the crankcase could be leaking or the bottom end could be shot, and I haven't really dived into too many motors, and I just kind of wanted.
And you can put the piston in backwards and new one that you just
Yes.
did, and the crank.
Yep.
Because I've done that when I was like 16.
Yeah. Run it low on oil.
No, just if you put the piston back. Well, yeah, essentially it does run it low on oil. It's not getting oil to the bottom end,
the
so it'll
bottom,
fry
yeah.
the bottom end. It'll just cylinder. I've
doing it.
been there, done that.
Yep. So it was one of those situations where I was like, I just want it done right. I don't know what I'm talking about too much on bottom end. So someone jumped on, "Oh, I can help you do that. I can help you do that." Yeah. So said, "Perfect, sounds good." Took the bike to his house.
Oh, and you had a different set of forks.
Yes.
Whoever
different-
had the
yep,
bike totally took all the gold off the show of forks.
Yeah, and there was
It looks
silver.
weird.
Okay.
Yeah, because the black bike, black and red theme, kind of the gold front end look like a polished.
Yeah.
steel, like a
So you
brush.
found he had a set
He had a
of
set.
stock show of forks, and
Yes,
they
sir.
were good.
Yep.
So,
So he was going to do forks. He was going to do top end. A couple other small things.
and what was he going to charge you for that?
300.
I thought you said 400.
Yeah, 400. We kind of left it loose.
Okay.
And I was like, "Yeah, just let me know at the end." So he called me up a couple hours after dropping the bike off. He's like, "Got it running. Sounds great." He goes, "Your carb's running really lean." So he goes, "I wouldn't fire it back up until you get someone to dial it in." Said, "You can go to a shop, they'll charge you $75." He goes, "Get your carb dialed in." But he goes, "Just to not hurt the motor, etc." So me being
Which you hit me up, and I got you Rick Lindell's number because Rick,
Yes.
I'm okay at jetting
Yeah.
a car, but dude, Rick,
it's an art.
this 500 here, when I first got it, actually, anybody wants to know, this was actually a wedding gift for my wife that she presented to me on our wedding day. But when I got it
Bring my
running,
wife in here.
I just could not get the thing running right. And seriously, Rick just leans on the seat, and it was like perfect. So that's why I got him your number, or I gave you his number, and you called him up, but you didn't even get that far. I get a text or a call the next day from you. And what happened?
So the bike got done. I went over to get it. He's like, "Oh, it's late at night. No, I don't want to, bother the neighbors. You also don't want to fire it up. You're gonna be running
10 o'clock at night or
don't
so.
want to
Yeah.
hurt it. Yeah. So me just being very trusting, the guy seemed knowledgeable. I believed him, and I know people are gonna jump on me. Oh, that's so stupid. Check someone's work. You got to make sure it fires up, etc. But I didn't want to have to do the motor twice, or I didn't want to have any other issues. So I took his word for it. And I've grown up on just basic 4-strokes. It's always been something where as long as you change the oil and put gas in it, they'll run forever.
Yeah.
So I've always bought dirt bikes that are running.
Especially, you said XR200, right?
Yeah,
You can't
dude,
kill
you can't
those
even
bikes.
kill it. Yeah, I mean, in 12 years, I don't even think I'd change the oil. Probably didn't even know the drain plug was.
Didn't need to.
Didn't need to.
The oil's
Need to.
probably still in that bike.
Yeah, originally, yeah.
And it's still running.
Still running.
Those are the ones you just top off. Every now and then.
Yeah, not even.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I had oil in it.
They don't run on oil, actually.
Yeah. So yeah, a couple days later, got the bike. Just curiosity got the best of me. I was like, I'm gonna go fire it up. What is 10 seconds gonna fire it up? And my wife had friends over, and I come back upstairs 10 seconds later, and her friend's like, "Did you ride it? Is it fast?" It'd been like 6 seconds. Like, no, and the Kickstarter was just soft,
Zero compression.
zero.
Yeah.
Called the guy up. He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, your power valve's open." He goes, "They adjust
Yeah.
the power valve with your carb dial-in. Your power valve's wide open."
Yeah.
So he goes, "That's not building compression because it's open."
Which is bullshit.
Yeah.
That's not how
so
that
when
works.
I told you first thing what happened, you were like, "That doesn't sound right. They don't work that way."
Yeah. So basically, if anybody doesn't know what the power valves do is if there's a smaller hole at low RPM, it runs better. And as it gets more and higher RPMs, the power valves will open up and create a larger hole so it'll run better on top end. So literally absolutely nothing to do with compression. So yeah, you called me up and you kind of told me the story, and I was like, just bring it over. And I actually had that other bike I was trying to finish up, and that guy was wanting to come get it that day, and I was like, hey, look, can you wait for another day? I got a guy come in. Like, I had to schedule it with my wife because I wanted to get you in right away because it was going to take us an hour to tear it apart maybe. So you meet here right at 5, right when I get off work, start tearing the thing apart. And yeah, as soon as I get into it, I see
Yeah.
so
Good clearance.
this is a steel sleeve that's bored out 1 mil over the stock piston. So the dude actually put the piston in. Now, I can't
This-
really show on the camera.
It just went in way too easy.
There's it's
That-
like your mom.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Wait.
That is what she said. Anyways, so the dude puts a new piston in to a bad cylinder, so scratches up the brand new fucking piston. So now the dude's got to get another piston. But the fact that the guy said that it ran, he told you it ran.
Yep. Runs great.
Absolutely no way it can.
Yeah,
No way.
Yeah, your carb's running. The funny thing is, after you told me this, I'm calling all these people. Can you help me richen up a carb? Jetting.
Yeah.
Can you help me
Yeah.
jet it? But it's funny because we did a compression test on it and it came back at like 10.
I don't think it came
If
back
that.
with any.
Yeah,
It would've
I
gone-
don't think it registered on the
Yeah,
compression
it's just
sensor.
nothing.
Yeah,
Right past the piston.
yeah, just like your
Um,
mom.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yeah, we dial in, just get right to it.
so also the forks. So the dude installed the forks. He goes to unload it and it goes dink and sticks.
Yeah.
So the guy basically tightened the one side nuts, didn't have the right spacers in, and 20 ugga-dugged it to where the forks were pulled in so tight they wouldn't go up and down at all.
Wow.
So as soon as I took the nut off and the pinch bolts loose, it goes
Bunk.
bunk and started moving freely.
Wow.
So actually, it's just funny enough. He went into Mikey Henderson and just picked up the cylinder, and because Mikey had one that just needs to be re-nickel-sealed. You can't re-nickel-seal a sleeve cylinder,
Right.
and also sleeve cylinders suck. You don't want them. So got one from him and just happened to be dropping it off when we were doing the show. So I was like, dude, come in and
nice
tell the
little race
story.
port on it. Got it kind of.
But-
out.
Yeah, I just wanted you to share that. So if anybody's
is rough.
listening, they'll
Yeah.
know to kind of just take a lesson learned
Take
from
a lesson
you
learned.
and make sure.
Absolutely.
I always tell people 2 things. Before you pick up a bike from a mechanic, you test it to make sure that it works.
Yep.
And when you drop it off to them, you tell them, I want my old parts. And that
Yes.
way you know for sure that they actually changed the parts that they said they did.
Yep.
Now, in your case, he changed the parts that he
Yep.
said he did. He's just an idiot.
Yep.
So we're not going to blow the guy's name out, but I told you to look into legal matters with
Right.
it. What have you found out? What can you do in this situation?
So my wife's solution, you know, when I told her, she's like, "Oh, whoop that ass," you know.
Oh,
blah, blah,
well,
blah.
actually, stop. I'm going to stop you right there. You met the guy in person.
Yes.
You went to his house.
To his house.
You know
Yep.
where he lives.
Correct.
He blocked you
Blocked
after
me
a few texts.
After
like
the
like you couldn't just show up.
Like I
This
couldn't
guy's
just show
built
up.
like a fucking Greek god. Like, would you,
It's funny
like,
'cause
are you,
this is-
like, if I was doing that to screw you over, you knew where I lived, I'd be like, hey, I'm going to start the bike. Oh, that's weird. It's not running. Let me get back into this thing,
let me-
you
let
know?
me figure it out, yeah. And it's funny because
Yeah.
this is my wife's answer to everything, like a car situation, a bike situation. Go whoop his ass, you know? Yeah, and she's from Florida, so I guess that's a Florida thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, is it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it is. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
from Tampa.
Alright.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
a Florida thing. Yeah.
I was like, all right,
sure.
calm down, Florida. We'll, you know, let's handle this another way. But yeah, so because it was more like a handshake agreement, like in the barn handshake agreement.
But don't you have text where you've
I do.
agreed to
I
the
do.
price?
He-
He's
yes.
verified that he
Absolutely.
you paid him for something that he
Absolutely,
did not do
yes.
right. You and I had you film, document while we were taking the bike apart.
100%.
I have on my security cameras when you
Yeah.
unloaded it. So like,
Everything, yeah.
yeah, I got all that stuff
Yeah.
if you needed it. So they still said no, there's nothing you can do.
It was one of those situations where because it wasn't a shop, because it wasn't anything like signed, I felt a little weird with knocking on someone's door on just a handshake agreement to where it wasn't anything. It was just like, yeah, buddy, drop it off. I'll work on it for a little bit. And it was so
There's like no work order. No
correct. There was no
invoice, no-
absolutely. It was
Yeah.
so unofficial and almost like back of the garage handshake of just, yeah, call me in a couple hours and I'll have it running.
Yep.
It was so, you know, and that this is part of the story. I know it's, you know, people are going to jump on me maybe and just be like, oh, that's stupid, blah, blah, blah. But when
We've
all
all done
these
stupid shit.
when all these shops are backed up 4 months, when all these people want outrageous pricing, for someone just to kind of say, hey, bring it to me, I can have it running in a couple hours. It
Which
was
is
almost
fine.
just like, you know, I was excited to ride. I wanted to get back into a bike. And it was something where everyone's so busy and everyone's charging outrageous prices for stuff nowadays. I thought it would just be like a quick, get it done, down and dirty. The bike's ready tomorrow. So,
Yeah. No, and I just want people to learn
lesson
from
learned.
that. Yeah. Lesson learned.
But I
Well,
appreciate you now, you know, working on my bike and getting it right.
well, I'm not much of a mechanic. I'm okay. So hopefully it
We'll
gets
find out,
running.
yeah. We'll-
But
we'll
I'm
send- we'll
definitely
send my
not
wife
going to
back over
screw you
here.
over because
Yeah.
you know where I live.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
well, I mean,
we
because you're
appreciate
like
you.
what, like 7'1"? Or no, I could see
6'4".
6'13". I could see 6'13", but
Yeah.
not 7'1".
Yeah.
But yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Well, cool. We'll hop on out. We'll get
Yes,
Joe back
sir.
in. I know you
Alrighty,
got your
here he
wife
is.
and baby here.
Yep. Me and Joe
So-
arm wrestle before I leave.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he doesn't go to the doctors. You'll hear that on the show if
Right.
you go back and listen. But yeah, you can just leave that right there. That's good. Well, cool, man. Well, I'll get the cylinder sent off and get it re-nickel sealed. And where'd you put that other stud that we need? Okay. You can just set it right there on the table on your way out. Oh, shit, I almost fell off the chair. That'd be fucking hilarious. All right. So, impromptu caller live. You know what leads in great to the next segment, talking about mechanics. Ready?
Get in there.
So this next segment is called Billy's Tech Tips. Billy Eisenacher, one of the best-known mechanics in the Atlanta area. In fact, remember the first time you had to bring a bike to him?
I know exactly why I take it back to
We were at Croom with your shitty KTM 350 and the piston cracked. You and I replaced it, and we spent 5 hours trying to figure out why it wouldn't start with that.
Yeah.
So
and-
Billy's
and
the
we-
guy I call when I can't fix shit.
Yep.
Or I can't figure something out. Him and Daniel. And usually between one of those, they'll have it figured out in no time.
We racked our brains for a long time before
And even
we finally.
it kicked his ass for a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
And it was all because of a mechanical chain adjuster,
Yeah.
not an automatic one. They had like, it was just like
We even messed with it.
Yeah.
We just had it off by a hair.
Yeah. So if you have it just a little too tight, that bike will not start.
What bike is this?
It's 11 KTM
2011
350.
KTM 350.
Yeah.
The first
but somebody took off
first
the
350 that
automatic
came
one
out.
and put the manual adjuster on it.
Manual.
So this segment is brought to you by Innovative Mechanical LLC. So transform your comfort with Innovation Mechanical LLC, specializing in HVAC service for residential and commercial properties. They provide expert installation, maintenance, and repair. Their certified technicians ensure top-notch service, whether it's air conditioning, heating systems, or indoor air quality solutions. Serving North Georgia since 1999, they prioritize customer satisfaction with prompt, reliable service at competitive rates. From routine maintenance to energy repairs, trust Innovative Mechanical LLC. He's gonna kick my ass.
Oh, man.
For all your HVAC needs, give them a call at 770. Oh no! I'm new at this. I forgot to pop up the ad.
Where's
there
the
we
ad?
go. Yeah, there it is. So give them a call at 770-726-7407 or visit innovativemechanical.llc.com to schedule service and experience unparalleled comfort today. So,
You can't even say my company's name right.
yeah, he's probably in the chats right now blowing me out. So, Chad Ferguson is actually a buddy of ours for a long time now, and a cool little history about that is, where does he live, Joe?
Just on Burnt Hickory.
Yeah.
Dallas.
What was there in the 70s?
National AMA Pro National.
Yep, the Burnt
125,
Hickory
250
AMA
National.
Pro National. His grandfather ran that race. His property is at that place. His shop is there. In fact, the shop that I brought the frame to sandblast my YZ250 for the giveaway was at his house. So we were hanging out, and the kids were playing all over the place and having a ball at the bonfire while I was in the shop just grinding away on that thing.
A lot of people around here don't know there's history just right down the road
Yeah, it's
local.
about 20. He and I were walking around that place one time, and we found like an oil bottle and an old beer bottle from the 70s that was from that race,
yeah.
and it was pretty cool to find that stuff. And I know we've ridden his track at one point because he did have another track there at one time.
We rode the
You-
one.
There a couple times.
Yeah,
We rode the one
and
right after she redid
I made
it.
sure that I told him I was going to blow him out for this. Got rid of the track, put a fucking lake with a helicopter pad.
Helicopter pad.
Yeah, got rid of a track for a helicopter pad. In fact, I might drop him as a sponsor. We'll see. I'm not going to drop him as a
He's
Might
sponsor.
be dropping
He's
you
one of
after
only
that
3
crappy
sponsors.
intro.
We can't drop him.
The ones that's paying too. Why is my
He's
folder's
literally
not
the
open?
only sponsor funding this. We need him.
Round Chad, we love you, man.
Huh?
No,
Comments are on?
they're on. Yeah.
What are you doing? My wife's in here talking shit. Get out of here, woman.
Don't you see the sign says
All right.
not for casting? Okay.
Yes, this couch is not for casting. All right. I've been on me this whole time. All right, on to Billy's tech tips.
It's time for Billy Knockers Tech Tips.
Yeah, I had my 5-year-old record that for me. Just realized that Billy's tech tip is not tech tip section. There it is.
Hey guys, what up? Campfire Stories, a little tech talk here. Yeah. First things first, we want to talk about spokes and nipples. They have a tendency to seize themselves together. Quick little shot of a penetrating loop, like this MPPL here, on the nipple and on the spoke, a month or so, will help keep these nipples and spokes from bonding together. What we have here is two dissimilar metals. We have a steel spoke, aluminum nipple. These things will actually corrode themselves together, and pressure washing the water and the mud from riding will actually get down here and lock these things together. Time you go to adjust the spoke just won't spin in the hub. Next thing we have is clutch fluid. Clutch fluid is often neglected and overlooked. Every 2 years, we should be changing our clutch fluid and our brake fluid. Clutch fluid is actually getting heated up by the engine each time the engine gets hot and cold. There's not much fluid in there. Good idea to keep that changed. That's about all we have for today. Get out there and ride.
Mike's back on. There we go. So
All I got from that was nipples. Keep your nipples
yeah,
lubed.
you got to keep your
Keep
nipples.
your nipples lubed up.
As
That's
soon as
all.
he sent that, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna have fun with this." He said nipples. But what's funny is the fact that when we talked about like what to talk about or whatever, he just goes into cool details on things. Like he was really going into details while he and I were on the phone about like what actually causes the fluid and why it needs to be replaced. But April, wife, told him to keep it short and sweet. But we'll work on it. It'll get better as it goes. So we're new at this. We're all new.
Wives.
I can't stand mine. I wish.
Oh, she's still
She's
here.
You guys could have warned me. She's in here.
Okay.
All right. So our next segment. See if this opens up. This is a good one. I think you guys are going to like this, and I'm going to encourage anybody to talk shit on me about this show because I think it's hilarious. And in fact, in the opening, it warns you that if you say things because you can't control your emotions, we're going to make fun of you. So, next segment is called Assholes on the Internet. So, I can't legally show their face or their name, but I can post what they said.
I think I know this asshole.
Luckily, this asshole, actually, he made a comment in there.
He did comment.
He said
He's watching.
he's okay with this.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's fine. So, Dennis Baskin decided to talk shit to me and asked if we can edit the voice or change the host. I know it's Pride Month and all, but is there too much pride? There's too much pride in his, they, them voice.
Spoken like a true Russian.
Yeah. Well, he's not Russian. He's Ukrainian.
Oh, sorry.
Isn't he?
Sorry.
He's one of them.
Wait. They're blowing each other up?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think he's here because, but actually, a little bit further, I asked him when his green card runs out, and or if INS can come after him, and then
He wrote some shit in Russian.
no, that was me. So
Oh.
I asked him what month, and day, or he just said he said August, so he didn't answer the question. So then I Googled translated Ukrainian to get that, and then I spoke that to him.
Isn't her name Denise?
It probably is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. He can clarify. He can clarify in the comments, Denise.
All right. So I think I'm going to enjoy that segment. I've got a good one for next week, for next episode, which will be in 2 weeks from now on July 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll have new guests in. I believe I'm going to have Coleman. He said one of his buddies, but yeah, Coleman Owen. Coco.
Okay.
Coco is always a good
Coco work.
good fun thing. So, next segment that I want to bring up, who is brought to you by nobody, because I don't have a sponsor for this. So, if you are interested in becoming a sponsor,
There's only
reach
one
out to me
sponsor.
at campfiremotostories@gmail.com. So, this next segment is called Stolen Motorcycles, and there's actually a group on Facebook. Oddly enough, their name is Stolen Motorcycles. And I reached out to somebody on there who had their bike stolen to see if I could share it on the show, and he agreed. But one of the main reasons that this show even came about is because, well, I blew out my knee in November, had to have surgery, and the Saturday before surgery, 3 of my bikes were stolen. The nice thing with it is my insurance guy, who's sitting right here with me, had all 3 of them insured, so I got my money's worth out of it, and I can't ride till September, so I took all the funding and put into making the studio. Probably going to be a bad idea, but either way.
There should be a sponsor for this segment shortly. I mean, because farmers hooked it up.
Yeah.
We got a bunch
Maybe
of other
talk to your
dudes
boss.
insured under farmers with their bikes. So
Yeah, so if actually
We're
you're
gonna
in
hook
the
it up.
Georgia area and you do want to have your bikes insured, it's stupid cheap. Like, I don't remember what it was, but it's well worth it. And yeah, you can call this dude. He'll hook you up. You can find him on Grindr and OnlyFans. What is your name?
correct.
2 dudes, one something. I don't know.
Big
Either
dump-
way,
Big Dumper 22.
this dude's bike. I'm gonna butcher his name. Joe Velasquez. But yeah, he had his bike stolen right outside his home, and it was parked next to a car. He even made sure that it wasn't towed. He called a bunch of people. I was reading in the comments about it, and they were saying that no, he 100% confirmed it was not towed. Out of Naples, Florida. Oh, this was pretty funny. Not funny for him, but he got a ticket for after the person stole it, rode it through a toll booth. Yeah.
Wow.
So
with the tag not
only did he get his bike stolen, he got a fine for this. So it sucks. And anybody that actually what a text you got?
Faucet.
What did he say?
Yeah, Jim.
Maybe don't say it. No, but
Let me see.
if somebody actually assists in finding this bike, I'm giving you 500 entries into the drawing for the bike giveaway. So
Jim, you're right.
Yeah, Jim, you're accurate.
Jim
Can't
nailed
say
it.
what he said, but he is right on
nailed
the
it.
money. But anyways, yes, if you help recover a bike that is featured on the show, then you'll get 500 entries to YZ. Keep doing my folders. If I click it at the bottom, it won't. So our next segment is anybody that watches this or has some good videos that on their just phone or whatever, you can go to my website and submit a video that way, or you can go to campfiremotostories.com. That way, did I go to my website? Go to yeah. Or you could also slide into my DMs on Instagram or Facebook and send me a video. And if it gets featured on the show, you get entries. Like,
Where are these, by the way? Don't we have some stories?
we don't have any.
Ah,
We don't have any
we're
sponsors
working on
or
it.
videos.
Okay.
So we're moving.
We have audio recordings.
Well, it's funny you say that because that's the next segment.
Hey,
and after
Perfect segue, man.
after this segment is the live callers. We're going to turn on the phone. So anybody who's watching that wants to call in and talk crap about that is more than welcome to. But this next segment, I actually do have a sponsor for. And these stories that are sent to us by dialing 844-789-2367, which is also the number that you can call in live, talk to us in person. So these stories are brought to you by On-Road Riders. Get on the road safely with On-Road Riders. They offer Georgia certified training through Motorcycle Safety Foundation Basic Rider Course on both 2 wheels and 3 cycles, enabling you to obtain your motorcycle license hassle-free. Their mission there we go. Their mission is to instill essential skills for safety, safe motorcycle operation, and save lives. You'll learn from certified coaches covering everything from clutch friction zone techniques to obstacle avoidance. They currently have 2 convenient locations at Mountain Motorsports in Conyers, Georgia's Best Fireworks in Milledgeville, and you only have to be 16 years old with parental consent to get your permit. You can enroll and upon successful completion, receive a waiver for your Georgia DDS motorcycle license. Visit onroadriders.com to start riding safely. All right, on to the next segment. So this right here is, obviously I didn't have the phone set up. I didn't have other things set up to where I could do this, but I do now. So I've essentially gotten stories from people that I've just reached out to, friends, gotten stories from actually just random people I've met at Durhamtown one weekend. So this dude, Day,
I want to give you exact date, location, and
No. So yeah, just tell, like
if
you were
give
telling
me
me.
like 2 seconds, I can get my phone and I got pictures. So
Well, send me the pictures of it for sure.
Yeah,
But no,
you-
don't worry about telling me the date or any of that stuff. So what race was it?
it was a Mid-East race in March. I want to say it was the Stampede last year in Blue Ridge, North Carolina. AM race, shaft class. My son was racing inside of a enclosed trailer, 16-foot enclosed trailer. The cables on the side of the trailer got intertwined and went to go push the door. The door did not open immediately. It had a maybe a 4-inch gap. Obviously knew that something was wrong with the 4-inch gap. Went back, pushed the door again, and pushing the door, the cable, the one cable on the left-hand side popped and start unraveling itself. And in the mix of the tension of unraveling itself, it made a strange sound, almost like a whirlwind. Instinctively got feared, threw my hand up, and when I threw my hand up, the cable came across and caught my finger, severed it inside of the glove, and stopped for a minute and didn't realize quite what happened because it was obviously cold outside, and the trauma of it in itself. Got the door to go down after that, and got my son out to get him on the starting line where he needed to be. That's what started this whole incident from the beginning.
Your finger was in the glove still, right?
Yeah, my finger was inside of a glove. Believe it or not, it was a built glove made by Cycle Gear.
Yeah.
Not anything that's anybody that rides bikes or anything like that knows that Cycle Gear.
Yeah.
You know, I won't go into any details about that, just in case it might be sponsored by Cycle Gear.
Yeah, you went up to the line, got your kid to the race still.
Yeah,
with
got
no
my
finger.
kids a race. But prior to that, I forgot, I missed a moment where my wife called and she was like, "Hey, you gotta get to the line. You gotta get to the line." And I answered the call and I told her, I was like, "Hey, I cut my finger off." And she's like, "Ha ha ha! You're being smart, bud. You didn't cut your finger off. Get up here to the line." And got him to the line. And she got there, and she saw my finger inside her glove, leaning sideways, obviously bleeding. And she's like, "Oh my God, you did cut your finger off." And we knew immediately not to take my glove off. We had several dads there on the line looking at it, like, spectators, middies. God, hats off to their medical staff that's there. Because they came up immediately and was trying to help, and they knew the situation. They knew it was severed, and they knew that I needed to get medical help from outside sources that they could not provide there on scene. And it was an event. But my son did start his race. And he finished his race, and I stayed there. I put a tourniquet on it and kept it elevated. And everyone looked at me like I was crazy, but my son finished his race. And
like a true mini dad.
Yeah, that's what it takes, dedication, man. If you're going to be a dad and a moto dad, I don't think there's many more. Any other dads that go harder than we do, a moto dad. So... we stayed there and let him finish the race, and I believe, don't hold me to it right now off the top of my head, but I think he came in like fourth. Due to, he just wasn't on his game because everything that happened.
Cool. No, that's a great story, man. I appreciate it.
I want to give you.
There we go.
Dude,
yeah,
run into the line with blood squirting.
We would do it. We're dumb enough to still race.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't do it.
I
I knocked off a toenail and quit the race.
You totally knocked off a toenail at a race.
Totally.
That's right.
Totally.
Did that totally heal again?
Yeah, I got 2 new nails out of the deal.
It was like one piled on top of each other.
No, they pop off. They just.
How did you get?
Then you
So
grow
you
a new
currently have 2 on them?
No, I popped 2 off. 2
Oh,
separate tests.
No.
We might have a caller in a minute who has a toe or a nail
that totally has a toe
No,
story.
this isn't a toe. Yeah, it's recent. Because you weren't there. It's Dylan at the 8 hour.
I don't know what's going on, but for some reason. All right, so I got one other sent-in story, then we're going to do the live caller. So this is Chris Turner. Cool dude.
All right, let's do this. Let's see. I think it was sometime around the very end of 2006 or beginning of 2007 during that off season. We had just qualified for the Red Bull Rookies Cup, the inaugural season for that. Me, Cameron Bobier, JD Beach were the three Americans representing the USA. We're at Valencia. This is our second test after actually going through the selection process. This is the first time that we were going to ride the KTM 125s that we were racing that season. Second time I had been to Valencia. That's where we did the selection process. So I had an idea of the track. I felt pretty good, was turning some okay lap times, was within a second or so of maybe 2 seconds of the fastest guys there, which I was happy with at that time. Long story short, the whole weekend was a disaster for me. We had a test at Valencia on Friday. We had a Saturday and a Sunday off, and then we were to be at Jerez Monday morning for another test. Friday, I believe it was second session. It was sometime around lunchtime, if I remember correctly. Come out of the last turn, did a little bit of a wheelie, set the front wheel down on the curbing on the outside of the track, and got just a little bit of a head shake. Mind you, at this time, I've only got one season of road racing under my belt. You know, I was racing We're a Novice in 2006 whenever I went to the selection process. So there were still some things I needed to learn, and I was about to learn a very hard lesson. So I get down to the end of the straightaway, go to pull the front brake lever, roughly, I believe, about 140, 145 on the 125s at the end of the front straight, Valencia. Get on the brakes, and there is no front brakes. Yeah. I learned that anytime you do a wheelie and you get a little head shake, it's possible that it'll spread the front brake pads apart. I learned that the hard way.
I don't know that either.
I got about halfway through the gravel before I finally was able to get a lever, but at that point it was way too late. I tucked the front. I bounced one time in the gravel, and then I hit the tire wall backwards. I could feel my shoulder blades actually like stretch around the air hump on the back of the leathers, and my shoulders touched the tire wall, and then I kind of just fell forward. And I actually beat the bike to the tire wall, and they said on the data that the bike was doing 120 still whenever it hit the wall. Bent the forks, pushed the front tire into the radiator. I destroyed that bike. First day ever on that bike. I went to the medical center. They kind of hobbled over there with some assistance. Lay down. The doctor there's a Spanish doctor. Obviously, you know, we're in Valencia, Spain. I don't know Spanish at that time. Had no idea what he was trying to say to me. Next thing I know, I'm laying on my stomach, and he's ripping my pants down, and he shoves a big old shot in my butt, and God, it hurt. I found out about 15 years or so later that I actually fractured 2 vertebrae, T4 and T5, I believe. So that's where it really started going downhill for my weekend. I spent the next day kind of hobbling around Valencia. Me and my dad rented some bicycles to get around. And I did what I could. I rode around a little bit. I spent a lot of time laying on benches, just in pain, just agony. And then the next day, that Sunday, we had to catch a train from Valencia to Jerez. And we're good hour into the trip or so, I'm starting to get a little hungry, feeling thirsty. Told my dad, I said, hey, give me a little money. I'm going to run over here to the food car and get something to eat. I go over there, ended up getting a steak sandwich and a Reese's. I spent my drink money on a Reese's. Go back over to the car that I was in, eat my sandwich, eat the Reese's, and realize I really messed up there because that steak sandwich was so dry. I told my dad, I was like, give me some more money. I need to go back and get a water now. About this time, train pulls up to a station. I didn't think nothing about it. Go over to the food car, give me a water. Train takes off. I start to walk back. There was one car between the car that I was in and the food car. Walk through that one car and realize there's no longer any more train behind me. They had split the train. The one that I was going on was going about 100 miles in the wrong direction. The one I was supposed to be on was going the other way, which my dad was still on the other train, and I'm on the one that just split, took off. And, at this point, I 15, I believe, 14. Yeah, 14 years old. I don't know a lick of Spanish. I start flipping out. Not to mention, I'm in pain this whole time. Like I said, I broke 2 vertebrae. I didn't even know it. So I was I was in tremendous amount of pain. I started getting a little frustrated. I started yelling at them. If they didn't stop the train, I was going to jump off the back of it because we were still moving pretty slow. And in my head, I get through that door. I can run back over to the station and hop on the other train like nothing ever happened. And nothing. I couldn't. I didn't know what to do. I started to panic. I had no idea where I was going. I had no idea how to get in touch with my dad. Finally, I saw a lady in the corner laughing, and I pointed at her and I said, you know English, come here. So she come over to me. I told her what was going on. Next thing I know, the conductor comes up and he's trying to say something to me again, but it's in Spanish. I don't know what he's saying. So he just shoves a cell phone, like an old school flip phone, basically in my face, and I grab it, and it's my dad on the other line. I'm like, what is happening? I mean, this has been maybe less than 10 minutes, maybe 6-7 minutes. It hasn't been very long. And my dad's calm as could be. He said, yeah, I know what happened. You're going here. I'm about to get on another train, blah 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 blah. So long story short, he hopped on a different train, went to the same station that I was at. I had to sit there, I don't remember how long, a good hour or two waiting on him. Also, shout out to Norm Viano, that was manager for JD and Cam at that time, for driving, oh man, like 2 hours, I believe, maybe even more, to come pick us up from that train station really late at night. We got back, it was probably after midnight once we got to Jerez, thanks to Norm. But because of him, we actually were able to make the test the next day in Jerez. So yeah, just a shout out to Norm. Haven't heard from you in a while, man. Hit me up. So we show up at Jerez. First session of the day. There's, I believe it's like a 15-20 minute session. Wasn't long, just a little warm-up session. I see bikes littering the side of the track. I mean, people are going down everywhere, and I'm starting to think, like, what is going on here? What is happening? Like, yeah, first session of the day, it was cold. I remember it being a little cool, but, 1 or 2 guys tucked up front. That's nothing to think about, but I was seeing bikes everywhere. I get to the end of the session, roll into turn 1, and I mean, right when I'm about to pick up the throttle, the bike locks up, launches me to the moon. I have a big contusion on my left arm where I came down on it. And I got 2 broken vertebrae. I don't know it. So, like, thinking back now, I'm probably lucky that I just walked away from that, just sore. I don't even remember if I rode again that day. I feel like I may have. I don't remember. But yeah, that's the weekend. That's the story of the crazy, wild weekend I had trying to get a couple tests done in Spain. Walking away with a hurt arm, hurt shoulder, broken back, getting lost on a train. And this was honestly, it probably should have been a sign for how that season was about to go down for me.
We're back.
Unreal.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. The whole when I listened to it the first time, I was just like, like when he said that there's no train anymore.
Yeah,
but, yeah. But Chris is a good dude. So the first time I remember meeting him was I was racing Calhoun, and I want to say either the 450A or plus 25. and he and I just were battling with each other. Like, just it was almost like Andrew Hames. When I was racing, like back in the C and B classes, for some reason Andrew and I would always find each other, no matter what happened.
I was about to say
it was
back
like
up.
Chris and I were
back
that
up
way.
though. You were A. You were A.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
for motocross.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hey, I
Once
sent
upon-
the AMA
once
a letter,
upon a time.
and I got bumped
Okay.
back to B so I could race the plus 30 BC class at Loretta's. And the year I turned 30 was the same year they changed the
Did away
fucking
with
rule
that.
to sports.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I've never gone.
It's
Because-
overrated, I think.
No.
I wouldn't know.
The main reason why I've never made it to Loretta's is
No.
actually because I suck.
No, it's not.
No, it's not, Brandon. I'd sell my soul for one
We've
trip.
been to Loretta's. We've rode at Loretta's.
Yeah, you
And-
raced Loretta's.
in the woods.
I rode Am Day at the. too.
Oh, that's right. During COVID, you went up and you were hanging out with one of the truck drivers, truck driver John, or what?
Yeah, he was driving. He was driving the JGR Suzuki rig at the time. I believe now he's driving Ty Gibbs' personal motorhome.
Okay.
I think is what I last read about him. But yeah, super cool dude. Came and hung out with us 2-3 hours, grilled hot dogs, had a couple. We're the only ones left at Loretta's. We stayed a couple extra days just to hang out. Yeah, he cruised the old box. Chilled out with us for a while. Yeah.
You guys been in a tent this whole time? I think that's what you told me about it. Yep. All right, cool. Live callers, call on in. Let's see who we got. 844-789-2367. I've actually got it set up to where if somebody else calls after the other caller, it just gets straight to voicemail. So you're going to just have to wait your turn if you want to call in after that.
First come, first serve.
Yep. Get you some entries into it. YZ250. Built from a professional.
Should I get a couple hundred entries for being a special guest?
Yeah, yep, you do.
Beautiful.
You get entries for coming in.
Beautiful. All right, cool.
Studio. In fact, if I'm going to go ahead and say this, if anybody's in the Atlanta area and wants to come on board and you got some good stories, let me know. We're going to be doing this show bi-weekly on Thursdays from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. Oh, smooth.
I just realized the audio. That doesn't.
Phones.
Huh?
Phones blowing up. We're having to filter in the calls. So many are coming through.
Yep.
Yeah.
About multitasking?
I'm declining all of them. There's too many coming through.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah. I'm
Switchboard's
shutting 'em
blowing
down.
up.
Hey, if nobody wants to call, that's fine.
We can't take them all at once. Okay.
I do wonder. Yeah. I'll have to. All right. Well, we tried. Not my fault.
We're
People
still
are
trying.
a bunch of little bitches. Didn't A3 say he was going to call?
They're calling. They're all calling.
You know, I do think there's a delay from live to.
There is.
So that they're probably just. Oh, wait. We got a call.
I told you.
Let's see.
They're
what we got
coming in.
here.
They're coming
Hey,
in.
you're live, caller, with Campfire Moto Stories. Who do we have here?
This is Billy John with Simply Safe. I hear you have a desire for security cameras. You need a little upgrade.
I need them after a bunch of assholes stole my dirt bikes.
Yeah, video footage, but it just wasn't very good. We can get you fixed up for a cheap cost of $99 a month.
See, and I figured you were calling to offer me or to check on my extended warranty.
No, I'm just calling about my insurance prices next.
You got the wrong guy. He's not here.
He's actually right
But yeah,
there.
I mean, I believe Brandon isn't, getting sponsoring the show. There should be a great farmers insurance sponsored call.
It's coming.
Why would they pay when assholes like you are giving them a plug for free like you're doing?
Yeah, you just did it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we're
Home,
about
bike, tool, whatever you need. Van.
to
Go
hit
get
you
it
with
set up.
another increase. And the next show
I
just
can't
got paid
wait.
for.
That's the sponsor right there.
Yeah.
know.
You know, I
Appreciate
did ask him about insurance for like this business, and he said he didn't know anything about it. So he's not that good of an insurance guy.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing.
More of a broker / golfer insurance agent.
He definitely is that.
That's part of the
Well,
job
sir,
description.
this segment is for people to call in and share stories. So if you don't have one to share, then get the.
Hi, I don't know. I'm fresh out of stories. It's hot. I'm changing tires, just preparing for the weekend, So waiting on you to heal up.
Wasn't there a
from
tow
this,
situation? Did you have a tow situation from this 8-hour race?
Yeah, we lost a tow. No, not at the 8-hour. In Indiana last year, lost a toenail, big toenail. Lucky to still have a toe, and
totally.
It wasn't a good event. We were racing National Enduro in Indiana, and I think it was test 2 or 3 early in the test, couple miles in. I smashed my toe on something, don't know what, and cried like a little schoolgirl for about 10 minutes in the woods.
That fits.
Fair.
Thankfully, we made it back to a gas stop after test 2 or 3, whatever it was, and I had Nikki take my boot off, and I told her they're just toes laying in the bottom of my boot. Cut the sock off, and we'll have to analyze what's going on. And thankfully, she cut my sock off. The toe was all still intact, but the nail had blew out at the back of the nail bed. Everything was still attached on the side, and it just blew the back of the nail out.
She's like a nurse or something, eh?
What's that?
She's like a nurse or something?
No, not quite, but we had a few nurses on site, and we got it bandaged up, back in the boot, and we took off racing for the rest of the day. It was a great day. Finished the day, and then I went off to the medic tent at the end of the day, and they knew less than I did, so it wasn't a very pleasant ambulance trip, but it was free. So they got it cleaned up, washed out, and made it back to Georgia. And that following Monday, I found out cash prices at the urgent care are a reasonable price. So they cut that sucker off for me. The nail about $300, and we were out the door. They couldn't believe I had self-diagnosed I need my toenail cut off. They couldn't understand why, and I just told them it needs cut off. Give me the cash price on cutting off a big toe.
So the fact that I haven't had health insurance for the past like 6-7 years, I'm smart move there.
Yeah, I mean, the cash price isn't bad. I got the high deductible, so that way when I do crash big,
there you go.
You pay deductible and you're out the door. But cash price isn't bad. So,
hey, we can even put medical payments coverage on this there dirt bike policy you got, just so you're aware. Okay,
man,
there's a lot of great coverage there. It's a great value.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Maybe I can cancel my health insurance too, save some money.
There you go.
Hey, so earlier on the show, we were talking about Chicken Shit Joe, and you were there that weekend, weren't you?
I was there. Wasn't feeling too well. Was coming off a little sickness, just like the rest of us racers. We all end up with food poisoning the night before, but who knows what it really is. And, yeah.
So he helped you throw up to feel better?
No. But I think I got back to the truck early and was not feeling well and, was pretty sick to my stomach. But, I mean, got back and Joe was there, and I felt a lot better than he smelled. So
I think Mark was already back there, too, because he blew out a bib or something.
That's right. It was a real bad, dusty day.
Yeah.
Maybe not as bad as last Sunday for Brandon, but it was better than that.
Oh, Blueberry was great.
That was the one we ran 2.5 hours on, right?
2.5 hours.
I won that one.
You did not, because we were trying to get you the win on that one. I waited at the finish, maybe
you were gonna let me
2
win.
to 3 minutes.
Right.
Was gonna let you win to make sure we secured you second in the championship. And I got tired of waiting.
We had team tactics that day.
I got tired of waiting and went ahead and rolled through the finish. So I got the W that day, but tried to get
Is that the same day I used Brandon as traction in a mud hole?
I don't think so. I had a good race that day. I raced good at Blueberry.
No, you wouldn't have seen Brandon. That would have been
Yeah, I
that would have
wasn't
been
been
the
in the
following
mud hole.
season when he went into A, where he showed.
Oh, you and me were okay. That was a Citra. Okay, yeah, no, completely different deal there. Yeah, no,
It was dusty that except for the mud hole you were stuck in.
except for the mud hole.
You
that
know,
I would have never gotten out of.
One thing about the chicken ship race that we forgot to talk about, because you raced the AM race.
Yeah.
Some random guy comes walking through the pits and he's like, I left my boots at home.
Oh,
Does
damn.
anybody have boots I can borrow? And you were his size. And you were like, hey, man, I just went through some chicken shit, so they might smell that. The guy's like, I don't care. If they'll
And he
fit,
ran
you'll
'em?
let me. He ran them, and he destroyed them.
Oh, he clapped them out in one moto, dude.
They were
He came back
gone.
with the soul gone.
Yeah, a soul ripped off of both them, buckles
Yeah.
and shit broke off everywhere and stuff. My nice CDs, man. I'm
Yeah.
like, damn it.
You know, I learned this from one of my old bosses when I worked at a Cowie dealership when I just turned 18. And he said, no good deed goes unpunished.
Oh, sure.
And
man.
at 18, you're like, that's fucking stupid. No, you do good things. You know, it's nice. Get them back. No, it's true. It is a true story. No good. You do something nice for somebody, you get fucked. That's what happened. Be an asshole to everybody, people. Like me.
Works out.
I don't know if you guys also remember about Blueberry Hill, but I yanked a pretty big hole shot that race.
That was okay.
Cool.
I'm just gonna.
So if you remember, the dude on the line in front of you wadded big time, and they rerouted the start. Instead of S-ing back in the
They did.
field,
Correct.
they changed it to where instead of S-ing one time, you went straight around it.
Yep.
And you had such a good start that you actually turned to go to the
Kind of like
other way,
almost
and you were
started
like,
breaking it. Holy shit! Keep it signed on. Yeah.
You went
Yeah.
straight again.
yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, that was a really good start. Because Brandon and I looked at each other, and we were like, he got a good jump. And then we see you do that. We're like, he almost made the wrong turn.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, good times. All right. Well, we're running.
All right, well, I'm going to let you guys go.
Yeah, we're running about 20 minutes past our show deadline, which is about 2.5 hours past Joe's bedtime. So we're going to
Absolutely.
cut off any other live callers, save it for the next show now that you know what the show's all about. And or send us in a story anytime you want at 844-789-2367. And if you can't remember that last part, it's CFMS for Campfire Moto Stories. All right.
I already forgot.
Well, ADD, it'll happen.
Did you hang up?
You know, you can
You
go
hang
to
up
my
on A3?
website. I think I did.
Okay.
You can go to my website and find the phone number there at campfiremotostories.com. All right, so we're going to wrap up the show. I have one story left. So, my 5-year-old kid loves making up stories and stuff. So I told him one day, I said, B, give me a dirt bike story. And this is what he gave me. B, tell me a dirt bike story.
Once upon a time, me and Frankie rode on a dirt bike, and a bear came out of nowhere, and we were riding, and then we were in the forest, and then we drive as fast as we can straight into the street, and then the bear punched the sign. We punched the bear off of the sign. He went way into the distance, and he hit a car, and he's crying.
He's crying?
Yeah.
How badly damaged was the car?
The car was metal. It was not even damaged.
What? But the bear? Was the bear damaged?
No, the bear was horrible.
Bear was horrible?
Because he got burned by the sun. He got melted, and no more bears were on that land.
No more bears are on the land.
And me and Frankie went to the beach, and then a race car came, and then our garbage truck came, and we had fun with them. And they had to go, but they had to go to work. And we came back.
Is that the end of the story?
And then we swam a bunch. And then we went back in the street to home, and then that's the end.
Great story.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're wrapping up the show. That's all the time we have for today. A huge thanks for all our guests for sharing their stories. And people who called in, person who called in, it wasn't that great. Iffy. Yeah, he's all right. Yeah, please, if you got a story you want to share, just call in, leave a voicemail. You got up to 8 minutes to do so. If you know somebody that has a story, because we've all noticed that one person that can just not shut up. For you guys, that's me. Just why I'm doing this. But yeah, encourage your friends, share this with them, let them know. I think this show is going to be a lot of fun, and just it just gives the average person that doesn't have a way to tell their stories a way to share some of their stories. So I appreciate your time. Again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.